Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Again, we are live. We are live. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Again, make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, hit that like button. Please hit the like button as you come into the chat. Please hit the like button. And guys, I have good news. All right, I have good news. I need everyone, okay? Everyone who's watching this. And when you watch this, all right, I need you to go visit documentary.searchforuhuru.com. Again, the link, let me put the link in the chat room, documentary.searchforuhuru.com. Guys, the documentary has officially been released. Guys, please go there and support and buy the documentary. You know, I don't ask you guys for much, but I need everyone who watches this, go and support the documentary, please. Okay? Please go and buy the documentary. This pretty much covers, my first 11 years, 12 years, whatever, in Africa, along with my life story, and me covering my roots. This is my story. It's already out. It's already ready for purchase. Go and buy it. Again, please. I need everyone. In every show, I'm going to start off with go and buy the documentary. I don't ask you guys for much, except for, travel on the tours with me. But listen, I need everyone. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record. I need everyone to go out, go to documentary.searchforuhuru.com. We'll do my birthday next week. I will buy it then, guys. My birthday's August 11th by buying it. Go and buy the documentary, please. I'm going to make it easier where all you have to do is go to searchforuhuru.com and click on a link. Then it'll bring you here. But right now, documentary.searchforuhuru.com. Again, documentary.searchforuhuru.com. I am humbly asking, and I'm going to do this every day. Every day, I'm going to ask you to go and buy a copy of the documentary. So once you purchase the documentary, you'll register your account, then you'll be able to view it. And then all you have to do, if you want to watch the documentary, once you purchase it on a different device, you'll just go to the login and you'll log in. You'll be able to watch it. Play the trailer. Okay, let's play the trailer. Let's go ahead and play the trailer. Hold on one second. Let's play the trailer, everyone. Hold on. Give me 1 second. It's just this laptop. Sometimes it acts up a little bit. So hold on 1 second. Let's play the trailer. Oh, what am I doing? I just played on the. Yeah, I'm tripping. Hold on. Let's play it on here. Here we go. So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom. Till next time, Dynast Amir, I'm out. So again, I need everybody. This is a call to action. Go and purchase the documentary. Go and purchase. I appreciate, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much. And then also other announcement: tours still rolling to Sierra Leone. Again, we are still rolling to Sierra Leone. It's right here on the screen. It's documentary.searchforwho.com. It's right here, brother Daniel. Documentary.searchforwho.com. I'm gonna what I'm gonna do when I get done with you guys, I'm going to put the link for what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go to searchforwho.com and link it to where it comes here, so it'll be where it'll be easier. So again, it's documentary.searchforwho.com. The documentary is like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and a half, something like that. Hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. Yeah, so guys, make sure you go support. Also visit Africa. Visit Africa. We are rolling to Nigeria. Again, we are rolling to Nigeria in a couple weeks. We're leaving on the 8th of August, August 8th through the 17th. We're rolling to Nigeria for the Oshun Festival. And then if you're interested in joining us in Sierra Leone, if you're eligible for citizenship, let me grab my passport. If you have your DNA results from African ancestry, again, if you have your DNA results from African ancestry, hold on one second. There we go. If you have your DNA results from African ancestry, hold on, let me blow this up. Hold on. There we go. You are eligible for a Sierra Leone passport. All right. If you have your DNA results from African ancestry, you are eligible for citizenship and to get one of these. So go ahead and hit me up and we'll roll together. We'll roll together. And you know what? And what else? ilamir.com. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the show. Let me pull up the article real quick. Big things coming out of Liberia, you guys. Big things coming out of Liberia, everyone. So let's see what we got here. Liberia allows dual nationality. Liberia has allowed dual citizenship, reversing a long-time ban viewed by some as hypocritical, as many elites secretly held U.S. citizenship. I know people who had dual citizenship in Liberia who weren't elite, so I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say this though: I don't think it was really enforced if that makes sense. Again, I don't think it was really enforced, the whole dual citizenship, or you only can have one citizenship law as far as with Liberia. I don't think it was really enforced because I know several people who have two passports, so a Liberian and a U.S. passport. The bill signed into law by President George Weah Friday and confirmed Sunday by AFP had passed both the House of Representatives and the Senate Tuesday. It amends the West African state's nationality law, allowing Liberians to remain citizens after acquiring a second nationality. Liberia, a country founded by Americans, let's be specific, Black Americans, African Americans returning home, has significant diaspora living in the United States. An estimated 100,000 people born in Liberia lived in America between 2008 and 2012, according to the U.S. Census data. Dual citizens will, however, be barred from serving as Liberian president, which is normal. A lot of countries, if you have two passports, you can't serve as president, so that's fine. Finance minister or central bank governor from holding high-level positions in national security or law enforcement. That's fair. That's fair. If such a person desires to contest elections, the person must renounce the citizenship of the other country at least 1 year before applying to the National Elections Commission's, the bill reads. Well, in Sierra Leone, I think Matabio, he's trying to pass a law where you could be a dual citizen and still run for office, run for president. That'd be great. Because if they pass that, shoot, I might throw my name in the hat and run for office in whatchamacallit, in Sierra Leone. I might throw okay, Daniel Keys. Shout out to Daniel, everybody. Okay, brother, I bought it and we'll check it out today. Hey, Daniel, I appreciate it. Thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support, Daniel. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And if you set up your login and everything, all you got to do is sign in. And if you have any issues, Daniel, send me an email. Send me an email. Dan, if you have any issues. But yeah, but I appreciate the support. Last year, a Supreme Court decision relaxed the country's tough ban on dual citizenship, which dated back to 1973. The ban had previously automatically stripped citizenship from holders of other passports. The court decision did not overturn the dual citizenship ban, but rather meant that a court must decide whether or not someone can be stripped of Liberian nationality. The ban, which blocked Liberians who had naturalized in the U.S. or Europe from holding a Liberian passport, had long been viewed as hypocritical in some quarters as elite Liberians secretly held American citizenship and have been accused of transferring money abroad. Hundreds of thousands of other Liberians are also thought to reside overseas, having fled war and poverty. We have previously asked Liberians to lift the ban in a referendum in December 2020, arguing that nationality restrictions, which include a ban on foreign property ownership, were unfair. Some hope the move will propel investments in the poor nation of 4.8 million people. Yet the proposed change failed. A majority of 51.5% of voters were in favor of lifting the ban, but a 2/3 majority was required. So that's 2/3 of what, 66%? Liberia was founded by ex-slaves from the U.S. and declared independence in 1847, which the U.S. formally recognized in 1862. According to naturalization law, only Black people can be Liberian citizens. Under the new legislation, any Black person can now acquire Liberian citizenship through marriage, adoption, or if they were born in the country or to Liberian parents. There we go. There you go. There you go, you guys. So look, I mean, since Liberia was founded by ex-slaves, predominantly from the West, predominantly from America, but we have to recognize the Liberians who also came from the Caribbean countries as well. Should there be like a year of return? Should there be another? Uh, should there be like another year of return where Black Americans should be able to come to Liberia and file for citizenship? I think out of all the countries, Liberia, because of its history and the founding of it, this makes the most sense. You could also say Sierra Leone, but really Liberia makes the most sense because it was a country that was founded by um, free Black American slaves. So should Black Americans be allowed to come and claim citizenship in Liberia since they now officially recognize dual citizenship? Again, since they now officially recognize dual citizenship. You're right. Sierra Leone was set up by the British. I mean, you can say that. I mean, but Sierra Leone is a little bit. Well, you're right. Sierra Leone was set up by the British, so you can say that. Us Liberians will keep you posted. Okay, King Rebel. Here we go. Here we go, King Rebel. Okay. Aunt Nab ECOWAS is what you need. Aunt Nab's Nigerian, so he has an ECOWAS passport. So Liberia is ECOWAS, Sierra Leone is ECOWAS. There's like 13 countries that are part of ECOWAS. So yeah. So yeah, so that's the question. And let's go ahead and put the link in the chat room. Because of Liberia's history, should Black Americans be allowed to get citizenship in Liberia? And again, the Black Americans are going to actually contribute to Liberia, not just a free for all. Black Americans are going to actually. Can you put in the chat link the documentary at a time? Hard time finding it. It's documentary.searchforuhuru.com. That's the link. So that's the question. Okay, we got Skywalker on here. Go ahead, Skywalker.
Hey, Donnie's man. How you doing? Can you hear me good?
I hear you fine. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. I actually had occasion to read some Liberian law that came from Lewis Arthur Grimes. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Have you ever heard of him before?
I'm not. Go
actually, actually, the only law school in Liberia is named after him, the Lewis Arthur Grimes Law School. He was the 10th Chief Justice of Liberia. And he served as the Attorney General before he became the 10th Chief Justice. And I had occasion to actually get some of his reports and opinions when he was Attorney General. And a lot of the, I guess, reports that I read and opinions that I read, I was focusing on naturalization. And at first, when Liberia, like the original republic, I mean, you just had to be a Negro, right, to be a citizen there. And I found it also interesting that that you couldn't be, you had to be Black to own property there, right?
Right.
That's just, I mean, I just feel like that is just a wonderful a wonderful thing, right? You know what I mean? And but in one of the reports, when they started to move towards putting a lot of regulations on naturalization, was because at least according to Lewis Arthur Grimes, that I guess watching the development of civil rights in America, because you got to remember that in all of his reports and opinions to like the President Arthur Barclay or other secretary, or maybe like the Secretary of States, because that's for whom a lot of the opinions are wrote to, right? And he's using American law kind of solve these issues that the president might have had, or the secretary of state might have had, for which they sought his counsel on, right? And as African Americans started to get civil rights in America, according to Lewis Arthur Grimes, well, first they were facing a lot of things, right? A lot of people were just coming into Liberia, like, and just pretty much just buying up property, like treating the natives wrong, and like you know what I'm saying, doing a lot of things, right? And so they started to put regulations on it, to where like you had to kind of like go through like this naturalization process that pretty much looked exactly like the naturalization process here in America, right? And the reason for this, according to Lewis Arthur Grimes, was because the civil rights movement, right? African Americans had started to get a lot of basic civil rights, and so according to Lewis Arthur Grimes, Liberia wasn't really an asylum for freed Africans anymore, because they didn't really need it. A lot of them didn't want to travel 5,000 miles away, you know what I'm saying, for like some asylum.
Well, Skywalker, that was the case even. Okay, that was the case somewhat even after slavery. Like, you had a lot of Black Americans who are like, look, I'd rather stay on a plantation than go to Liberia. I'd rather stay here in America. Yeah. That's why when you look at it, only a small, very, very, very small percentage of Black Americans, you know, who had the opportunity to go to Liberia actually went. Yeah. I mean, because they were like literally when you study the American Colonization Society, so there was a colonialization society in just about every state, and they would just go around from plantation to plantation, said, "Hey, listen, we have this Liberia project, free slaves. You know, we could send them to Liberia."
Yeah,
and the majority of the slaves and even slave masters were like, "No." And then when the slaves, when they were freed, they were still saying, "No, we're staying here." So even back then, when it made sense to get the hell out of America, you know, African Americans were like, no, we're just gonna try our luck here in America.
But check this out, Dinus. I also had occasion to read some cases, right? I had the occasion to do some research and read some cases where slaves in America were actually suing their masters to go to Liberia, because in a lot of their owners' wheels, they had put in there, like in some of them they were putting, you know, saying they can go to Liberia.
Listen, there's a great book I'm gonna show you right now. I haven't finished it, that you should read, where it actually talks about lawsuits like that. It's called hold on one second. It's called Mississippi in Africa: The Saga of the Slaves of Prospero Hill Plantation and Their Legacy in Liberia Today. Right. So it tells the story of a specific, I think it's the family's name there in Mississippi, called the Ross family. And he said that when he passes away, he wants his slaves to be freed if they want to go to Liberia. And he even offered that, listen, when they go to Liberia, I'll give them reparations as well for when they go. And when he passed away, I think one of the sons was like, nah, we ain't letting these Negroes grow. We ain't letting these Negroes go. So there was like an internal fight with the family to allow some of them to go or to be free. Because like the conditions were, you could go back to Liberia and we'll even send you some money as part of reparations so you guys could, you know, establish yourselves. But then, you know, some of the children, once they inherited the plantation or whatever, they're like, nah, we're not letting these Negroes go. So you're right.
And also in those reports and opinions, how about, Marcus Garvey, right, in the 1920s, and Lewis Arthur Grimes is like in the 1920s. Actually, his son is the one that started the law school, Rudolph Grimes, and named it after Lewis Grimes, right? But Rudolph Grimes lived like the 1950s. But like, so in the 1920s, you know, Marcus Garvey had sent some UNIA emissaries to Liberia, sent them to Liberia. And Lewis Arthur Grimes and I guess the American-Liberian True Whig Party there had them deported as soon as they got there. According to Lewis Arthur Grimes.
Did he say why?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you why. He had them deported for two particular reasons. He had them deported first because he didn't want Marcus Garvey's mischievous, and I quote, mischievous propaganda to come over there and like spread amongst the people for somebody walking around saying that they were trying to take over the African continent. And the second reason was, and the reason he didn't want that to happen is because, according to him, Liberia was under a bunch of, they had a lot of treaties and agreements with their neighbors, which were under control of the European powers at the time,
The
right? You know what
French,
I'm saying?
right? You
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire, then Cote d'Ivoire. You had, of course, Sierra Leone, which is the British. Then you're right, exactly.
But also, so even though he had them deported, he also said that he would find a way to help them out, though. So I think he wrote to Arthur Barclay, and trying to see if he could find any way to, you know what I'm saying, to try to assist them, you know what I'm saying, without involving the courts. You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, but they did have them deported though. So the UNIA, even though Marcus Garvey didn't have a chance to get to the continent, some emissaries from the UNIA did arrive on the continent, but Liberia did have them deported in 1920s.
Hey, you got to put a link in the private chat where we could find these documents at.
Unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to find that. You gotta go to a law library to find it.
Okay, so law. Okay,
yeah, you have to go to a law library. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring Elvis on real quick. Our Liberian brother Elvis, go ahead.
Thank you, Dynast. Yes, I mean the law is I guess it's a good law for anybody who anybody who has dual citizenship or who would like to have dual citizenship. And I heard some people, in our community complaining that the law is too restrictive, you know, barring people from running for elected offices and whatnot, serving as presidents.
Well, that Elvis, not to cut you. I'm so sorry I was cutting you off, but that's normal. Like the majority of countries, they're not going to allow a dual citizen to run for political office. That's normal. But go ahead.
Yes, and that's the point that a lot of people made, that this is a normal restriction, but a lot of Liberians who, gain American citizenships and lost their quote unquote Liberian citizenship was mad about it, because a lot of them, was hoping to go back home to run for political offices and maybe serve as ministers and deputies and things like that. But the law is a good thing. And when it comes to African Americans, it's there's nothing changed. In order for you to get citizenship, you still have to go in there. There's a residency clause that you have to meet. You have to live there for, I think, a couple of years, and then you can naturalize yourself to be a Liberian. So there's not really a big difference for African American. The only thing now is that you can be American and also now be Liberian. But before then, you would have had to, renounce your uh, um, American citizenship or any other country that you was a citizen of before you became a Liberian citizen. So I guess that's a good thing. But the question here is, Don, is how many African Americans are willing to take advantage of this?
No,
Or
Elvis, it's gonna be a drop in the bucket.
right. So,
Yeah, it's a drop in the
I'm just
bucket.
kind of
So I
referring to
mean,
the title of the show. That's the point that I'm trying to make, because even during the '60s, like you was talking about earlier, when Liberia was so-called prosperous, during those days when it was a shining star in Africa, a lot of people from the Americas, even from the Caribbean, really didn't go to Liberia to become citizen. It was just very, very few people. So for me, my question is, why do you think that was? Because people like Kyla would make the the statement that Liberia was this great country for Black people, and why didn't they attract a lot more African Americans and people from the
no,
Caribbean
a
to
lot.
come
No,
in?
no, 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 Elvis. During the '60s and '70s, I would say the amount of tourism that was going to Liberia rival was even more than Ghana. I mean, Elvis, you guys,
No, no, I'm not.
there were two five-star hotels. The remains are still there in Monrovia, the Ducor and the African. Help me out? What's it called? The African. Elvis, what's the other hotel's name? Help me out. You got the Ducor Hotel and you got the African. What's the name of the other hotel? Somebody from Liberia help me out. You have the Ducor Hotel in downtown. Then you had the other hotel. Come on, somebody help me out in the chat room.
I know another hotel,
Hotel
Mama.
Africa, Hotel Africa,
Okay.
Hotel Africa. I
All right.
mean, you had 2 5-star properties in Monrovia, and I want to say the Ducor Hotel was probably either the first or second 5-star property in all of Africa. So they're catering to somebody. And from talking to my dad used to go back and forth to Liberia back in the 70s and 80s.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Donnie. I think you got me wrong. I said
Oh,
why
you're talking
were
about seeking citizenship.
yeah seeking citizenship during those
I just I
days?
don't think you gotta understand the average. Okay, so Elvis, the average Black American doesn't even have a passport. Like they don't even have an American passport. Like again, the average Black American doesn't even have an American passport. So to even think, there's opportunities to get possibly a second one, and that's even to this day. Like how many people argue? Do you understand how many Black Americans who don't even have a passport want to argue with me about the dual citizenship laws?
Right, and I get that, and that's the point right now because I see a lot of people, even if the show name, the title of the show. The question here is, I see a lot of people talking about, oh yeah, this is a good thing, this is a game changer. But how many people would take a couple of years out of their lives to live in Liberia and then be
Not,
eligible to
no, it'll be a small.
naturalize?
It'll be
Hey,
a small.
hey,
Go
Donnie,
ahead,
can I say
Skywalker.
something?
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you allow me, in that, like, and also let me comment on the topic because I talked a lot about the history. I think this is a great move for Liberia. Even if it just means that, because if I'm not mistaken, I think in order for like a Negro who wasn't born on Liberia to become a citizen, I think they would have to get married over there or something, wouldn't it? Because we can't or live over there for a while. I don't know, but I think it's a great idea. But one of the great philosophers of Pan Africanism, Edward Blyden, who was actually considered the father of Pan Africanism. A lot of people consider Marcus Garvey the father, but really Edward Blyden is, and he's a Liberian, right? And I have a small excerpt that I want to read from him. It's very small, but it's about African Americans. He's speaking on African.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. Go ahead.
What'd you say, Dynasty?
No, go ahead. Read it. Take your time. Go ahead and read it.
All right. Okay, so anyone who has traveled at all in Western Africa, especially in the interior of Liberia, and has seen how extensive and beautiful a country, marvelously fertile, lies uninhabited, with its attractive and perennial verdure overspreading the hills and valleys, cannot but come to the conclusion that this beauteous domain is in reserve for a people who are to come and cultivate it. And we can see no people so well prepared and adapted for this work as the Negroes of the United States. They are now in America, carried away by fascinating and absorbing speculations about the rights and privileges they are to enjoy in that land. Numerous politicians are endeavoring to advance their own ambitious purposes by agitating questions to the Black man's future.
We lost you, Skywalker. Go ahead, Elvis. We got lost you, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. Again, I'm reading the chat, and a lot of people are saying, a lot of African Americans want to go to Africa to get citizenships, but a lot of them are not considering Liberia really because, of course, compared to other African countries like Ghana, maybe Nigeria, Gambia and so forth, Liberia isn't as developed as those countries right now. And that's the thing. A lot of people want to go back, African Americans or even some Liberians or even other Africans wants to go to a place that's already well made, well developed, have an infrastructure, has running water, good electricity. And a lot of those things can't be said for Liberia right now at this, point in time. So I think a lot of people just wouldn't consider Liberia, even though the history is there for those reasons, lack of development or whatnot. So,
Hey, Elvis, in that, I hate to interrupt you, Elvis. In that essay that I was just reading, he speaks on it, right? Blyden speaks on it.
Hey, Skywalker, you probably got to read it again, and then there's a lot of wind in the background. Like there's a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Let me come over here.
Yeah, go ahead and read it again because you had went out. So go ahead and read it again.
Okay, so I'm gonna read it again. All right. Okay. Anyone who has traveled at all in Western Africa, especially in the interior of Liberia, has seen how extensive and beautiful a country, marvelously fertile, lies uninhabited with its attractive and perennial verdure overspreading the hills and valleys, cannot but come to the conclusion that this beauteous domain is in reserve for a people who are to come and cultivate it. And we can see no people so well prepared and adapted for this work as the Negroes of the United States. They are now in America carried away by fascinating and absorbing speculations about the rights and privileges they are to enjoy in that land. Numerous politicians are endeavoring to advance their own ambitious purposes by agitating questions of the Black man's future in the United States. But unless they can succeed in throughly altering the estimation of the Negro entertained by
Yeah, his sound keeps going out. Go ahead, Jamal.
Hey, what's going on, Dynasty? Yeah, this is a good topic here. Good topic here. Yeah, I think Black Americans, man, we got to look into it, man. You know, there's nothing wrong with having one foot in Atlanta and another foot in Monrovia. You know, I think this is a good thing. I do think, like, I don't know
Man,
the
if,
deep.
if it were up to me, if I had one foot in America, I'd be in the DMV area. I'm ready. I'm over Atlanta. But go ahead.
Hey, Dynasty, man, it's more Jews in New York City than Tel Aviv, right? You know, we can do both, man. I think Black Americans can do that. You know, I know y'all was talking about Liberia and the Garvey earlier, right? If you ever get a chance, Dynasty, check out the Liberian Intercept letter where Marcus Garvey wrote to the leaders of Liberia. He said, "When I come, I'm going to be the king of Africa," right? So the leaders in the power structure of Liberia said, "Oh no," and they shut that down, man. So if you ever
Right. So Skywalker, he actually was reading. I guess the Skywalker was reading the. It was a document where they brought up why they blocked Marcus Garvey from coming, because I never really got a clear understanding of that. And they
Right.
said the reason why is because he wanted to take over Africa. And they're like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. So
Yeah, that was deep, man. It's real interesting, real fascinating. Yep.
Hey, can you guys hear me better now?
yeah, you keep going in and out. Like while
Yeah.
you're reading, you just cut off.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, you know, that might be intentional, but I don't know what's. But let me see if I can read this without going out one more time, right? Because
Okay.
this is William Blyden writing in 1860 something, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's a famous father of Pan-Africanism, philosopher, a Liberian, who inspired a lot of people like Louis Arthur Grimes and the leaders of Liberia. So here, I'm going to read it one more time. Anyone who has traveled at all in Western Africa, especially in the interior of Liberia, and has seen how extensive and beautiful a country, marvelously fertile, lies uninhabited, with its attractive and perennial verdure overspreading the hills and valleys, cannot but come to the conclusion that this beauteous domain is in reserve for a people who are to come and cultivate it. And we can see no people so well prepared and adapted for this work as the Negroes of the United States. They are now in America carried away by fascinating and absorbed.
Yeah, I don't know why the brother keeps cutting off. That's real good, Elvis.
it might be a conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't know. It might. Yeah,
Yo, that's
his
crazy,
internet is
y'all.
being held up.
Every time
You
I
keep
start
cutting
reading,
off.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm gonna leave it alone. Well, but pretty much all Edward Blyden is saying in that piece is that African Americans are the perfect people suited to come and cultivate Liberia, right? And so I think that African Americans do need to, and also I need to say one more things about those reports and opinions. A lot of people talk about the Americo-Liberians, right? Oppressing the natives over there and stuff like that. And so in those reports and opinions, there's a lot of literature on the relationship between the Americo-Liberians and the natives, right? And it turns out that apparently the natives were involved. Well, a lot of native chiefs back then. I'm not trying to cause no kind of feud between, you know what I mean, but there was a slave trade going on the coast of Liberia, even after it had been abolished by the British, right? You know what I'm saying? And so there was still like French vessels and Spanish vessels coming to the coast of Liberia, and they were negotiating with a lot of the chiefs, with a few of the chiefs, in trading slaves. And so the Americo-Liberians, that whole regime or government, is the one that pretty much really ended the slave trade, by using force a lot of times against the chiefs and against the French and Spanish vessels that was coming in there, still trading slaves with some of the former chiefs of those tribes, like around the 1800s. But I found that very extremely interesting, you know what I mean? Because other than that, like I'm literally looking at law that's being passed, you know what I'm saying, for the benefit of the natives by American Liberians. So I think a lot of that noise that we hear about the Americo-Liberians oppressing the natives, other than those aggressions when they were trying to stop the slave trade, right? And probably other conflicts that might have evolved, you know what I'm saying, like in the early 1900s, late 1900s. I'm not saying none of that, you know what I'm saying, it didn't happen, but I don't think.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good point.
But I'm done. But I'm sorry about that, guy.
Go ahead, Kala.
Yeah, I would like to say happy Independence Day of Liberia. 175 years as a republic. I know Elvis is celebrating. We hope he is. 200 years 2022. February marked 200 years as an idea, and July 26 marks 175 years after Republic, minus 25 years of trials and tribulation and everything. A republic was born, and the republic still stands today, despite the people like the likes of Elvis and everybody else who want to wipe this republic and this idea and everything off the map and everything. But the republic is still standing. Hold on. Let me say it. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Like we saying, like, bro, Kala, you always can pick force on me. You always can pick force on me, Kala.
I'm taking it to these Negroes, right? Because right now I got to the point where not just like African Americans, Black Americans, who basically want to freaking sabotage everything we do, and with their Negroism and everything like that. The Liberian Negro-pean and the African American Negro-pean, the Nigerian Negro-pean, these are the reasons why Black people, the Black race, can't get ahead, right? Every time we have something Black and everything, we want to tear it down. We see another Black man succeeding and everything, we want to tear it down. He's an agent. He's this, he works for white supremacy. He don't give enough back to the community. All this kind of nonsense. The Americo-Liberians, there was no such people as Americo-Liberian, should have did this. They only had 35 really strong years. Liberia, as we see right now, is really only 35 years old. That's 1945 to 1980. Through that time period, Liberia was just an idea, a barely struggling state. No money. It wasn't tied to the Rothschild banks. It didn't have the capital banks or the internationalists and everything. So in 1945, Liberia, under right around the time of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was given his first break. Franklin wrote in his book. He
So
said,
we start counting history from where we start becoming prosperous.
Let me give you a little history lesson, Elvis. Let me give you a history lesson there.
No, don't give me your revisionist history, Kala. Don't give me your revisionist history.
It's revisionist.
Yeah, don't say it
Well, let
started
him
in
land,
the
Elvis. Let him
50s.
land. Let him land. Elvis, let him land.
You don't know basic history. Well, let me give you a history lesson, right? And like I said, most people here on this panel are educated. We're not like you dumb idiots that you talk to online that have never picked up a book in their life. We all educated. So anyway, Franklin Roosevelt came to Liberia, right? First president, I think he was the first president to visit Africa, and he met with President Barclay at the time, right? And Franklin wrote something very profound, right? Very profound. He said, part of the problem in the developing world is this idea that only white countries are allowed to have things like running water, sewage systems, proper infrastructure. He talked about that. So when he got back to the thing, right, he met with Liberian officials and African American leaders, and he said, "Look, he went and said, look, Liberia's an ally in the war. We're going to give you money through our already on the books called the Lend-Lease. This was money that was given to all the so-called allies. But he noticed that none of the black so-called country allies were getting these funds. So with the Lend-Lease program, right, first major deal to Africa, to a black African country, the free port of Monrovia was built. Roberts International Airport was built. Several other infrastructure projects built. Why? Because Liberia was an ally and the funds was there. So that's how the free port of Monrovia was brokered and built. Okay, out of that, from that time period, the modern Liberia was born. It was right there. No other reason. So 1945, Liberia was born because of that one incident with Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, you know something, we're going to help you. And then that 35 years, Liberia astonished the world at its development. Astonished the world. It went from a backwater place, a seedy place, to Monrovia being a free port, being a major port on the global scene.
And who financed it?
So you can talk.
Who financed
it? All you want, Elvis, right?
Who financed it, Carla?
And not only that, you wanted all this in 35 years. You have people in America, white, black, and everything, still weren't in the middle class during that time period.
I'm asking you a question. Who financed it? Since you say our history starts from 1945. What an idiotic statement to make.
Well, who finances America's wars? China.
Don't ask me a question. Don't ask me a question to answer my question. I'm asking you a question to answer.
Elvis.
Liberia, no, you always come on this show looking for smoke, Carla. I came on this show peaceful tonight, but you come on this show looking for smoke.
Okay, first of all,
I asked you a question. Answer my question.
Let's go for some facts, right? Liberia had a Firestone, right, which was contributing revenue, right? That's what Albert Porter was trying to say with Tubman. He said, look, 5,000 people are taxpayers in Liberia. Liberia only had 5,000 registered taxpayers in the whole country, He said the rest of the tax money was coming from Firestone and concessions. They were doing the budget, right? The Bong Mines was the first major.
I mean, it's like you believe everything you read on Liberia. You don't even dig deeper. Have you heard about the hot taxes of people paying taxes to the government in the interior of the country? What are you talking about?
You go on emotion, right? Only thing
I'm giving you facts. It's not just. It wasn't just only 5,000 taxpayers in the country. The native in the villages who wasn't doing anything was paying hot taxes.
Hold on, Elvis. You didn't even know your indigenous name until the other day, and whatnot. But yet you want me to rely on you for
that's my maternal grandfather's name. What are you saying?
How do you not know something like that?
How do I not know something like that?
How do you not know something like that? So you said, "Oh, by the way, what's my maternal?"
Okay. What was your African name? What was your father, your family African name before they changed your name to whatever your Americanized name is?
What are you talking about? My ancestors been here for 400 years.
Oh, so you lost your history then?
How you gonna compare?
What are you talking about?
I've been through.
My mother's family name was changed before I was even born. Oh, so don't say as if to say.
Who changed it?
What do you mean? My mother's father. I explained this history before when I came on the show.
What was that?
I explained it before, so if you wasn't listening, I'm not going to repeat myself.
Say the bottom line,
but Carla, man, you really like confrontation, and I'm here to give it to you. I'm really here to give it to you.
Right? And you stayed in there instead of going to Monrovia, right? You would probably be so. You probably know your indigenous name right now.
What are you talking about? I was born in Monrovia. What are you talking about, Carla?
So why were you born in Monrovia? What'd you go there for? You weren't indigenous to Monrovia.
My family lived in Monrovia at the time when I was born.
Okay. See, so the whole thing is,
I won't say Monrovia. I'll say a suburb of Monrovia.
Elvis, what you need to do is go down there and sing "All Hail Liberia." Go out there and get your Liberian flag, right? Eat some Liberian fufu and whatnot, and some pepper chicken and stuff like that. Some club beer and enjoy yourself, man. Because you're not going to win this argument, man. The tide. The
argument about what? What are we arguing about?
How bad the so-called Liberians did.
I'm not even on that topic. When I came on this platform, I was talking about.
But I know you're going there, man. So
I'm not even going there. You were the one that came on this platform and started talking nonsense. Even earlier, when Donnie's posted this show, hold on, Carla, hold up. When Donnie's posted this show, right? You try to take credit for it. You said African Americans were the one putting pressure on the Liberian government to pass this dual nationality bill. and
I did not
that's isn't
look,
true. You
no,
said that
I
in the
think
you said that in the chat,
no, no,
didn't you?
no, no, no,
Oh
Elvis. This
my
is what I
God,
wrote. Elvis, this is what
I knew
this
you
is
was gonna lie. Okay, go
Elvis.
ahead,
This hold
go
up.
ahead.
This is what hold up. I knew you take it the wrong way. This is not what I meant.
No, but that's what you said. What
No,
do you mean? You know I'll
Elvis.
take it the
That's what
wrong
you
way.
Elvis,
You don't
Elvis,
even know who was
Elvis,
pushing for this bill, but
Elvis,
you attributed it to
Elvis,
African Americans.
Elvis. Let me say something. Let me at least give me the benefit of clarifying what I meant. Right? I said over the last couple of years, right? Dynasty show. Dynasty is the reason why Madam Cooper, which we call Jeannie Cooper, got in the Ministry of Government because they saw this show. Dinah's interview her. I introduced Dinah to her, and she went up there. And now the government bring home the Minister of Agriculture. They didn't know who she was, you know. So these shows have a lot. The bottom line, there's a lot of black people in America who basically, the government of Liberia is looking at the fact that black people in America are going to Ghana, right? They're bringing brains and skills and advancements on it. And there's a lot of Liberians in America, right? Who are tired of every time they got to go to Liberia. You know, my boy Naya and everything. That we got to get a visa. Me and him couldn't even get to the freaking continent when I went there, Liberia last time, because his visa got held up and whatnot. You know, so he couldn't make it when I went there. So we were supposed to do the trip together, but he had to go. Like thing. Now, if you have a U.S. passport, right? If you're a U.S. citizen, if you're black people in America, you know, some white people too. I guess it's not, you can't be strict by race, but the people it's going to mostly target are Liberians that were born in America, which is a growing community, you know, of Liberians that were born in America. You know, that's significant. They're part of the black community in America, and they're also part of Liberia, and so they should be able to participate in
Hey,
going back and
Kyle,
forth to their
let me
country.
ask you a question. How does the new Liberian dual citizenship, how does that affect Hakeem in Philadelphia or Raheem down in Atlanta? How
Jamal, I
can we
don't
get
think it's
involved?
dual citizenship. I don't think it's dual citizenship. I'm against dual citizenship, to tell you the truth. I'm against dual citizenship. To be honest with you, I'm against it. You know, I'm like this. I'm like this. Black people in America, right? Black people in America. I'm like this. Liberians, the Liberians that run the country. You got President Weah and all these other people. Let them. I'm not interested in political office in Liberia. You know, I'm like this. If I could go there and invest, buy a home and buy property and get with Liberia Party, that's good enough for me. That should be good enough for any black people in America. I don't believe that. This is my personal opinion, that we need a citizenship, because Liberia, if you look at Liberia now, there's nothing stopping any black man in America from getting land in Liberia. It's the only fucking. What part of Liberia is the only free country in Africa? It's free soil. You can't do what you do in Liberia. You can't do what you do in Guinea that you could do in Liberia or Sierra Leone. None of these
Kyler,
countries.
you're so wrong on that point exactly. That's why a lot of people is fighting for this dual nationality, because if you don't have a Liberian passport, or you're not a
No,
Liberian
hold.
citizen, quote unquote, you can't own land in the country. That's what this stems from.
Look, bro.
You know.
When I was over
So
there,
when you
I
just
was
said that you
talking to
don't
the
have to have a
ministry and everything,
citizenship to
and they
own
said, "Look,
property, that's not
if you're
true.
a black man from America, that's a lie. You guys are saying that." There's
Uh,
Liberians that own land in Liberia that just don't want to do nothing with it. They're only interested.
you don't even
You gotta say the
understand. You don't
Liberian
even
mentality,
understand,
right?
Kyler.
The Liberian
You don't
mentality is
understand.
you got land out there that they can cultivate, land that they could build stuff with. But the only thing Liberians interested is in politics.
I I was asking you a question earlier when you came on this platform
Hey,
and
Dice, you there?
said that this whole thing was passed because African Americans was putting pressure on the Liberian government. What is flat out it's not true. There's a guy called Emmanuel S. Wetty, which is a Liberian, and he lived here in the United States. He had kids here. He naturalized as a Liberian citizen. He's been pushing for this bill since 2014 because he says that he can't own property in Liberia. His kids want to enjoy some of the same rights that he enjoyed growing up in Liberia. So he's been lobbying the government along with some other groups, like the ULI and other people that have some auxiliary groups in the Liberian community in America. They were fighting for this whole dual nationality, and he finally got it passed. So, Kyla, you had nothing to do with it. No offense to African Americans, but African Americans really didn't even have an interest in it. So to make that asinine statement stating that it was African American who was pushing for it is just a flat out lie. Don't say that again. And when it comes to property rights, that's the thing that you don't even understand. You think if you go to Liberia and you bought a piece of land, you think you really own it. You really don't. Once somebody challenges you, on the laws on the book state that you have to be a Liberian citizen to even own property in Liberia. Well, I guess I'm not even looking at the thing. I guess he went up. But yeah, like I was saying, Kyler always come on this platform trying to bring division, even when we should be talking peacefully about a situation. He wants to come on here and start insulting somebody. But that's why I always come on the shows when it talk about Liberia, because I want to counterbalance him, because he always spew a lot of nonsense and with no facts behind it. But I'll
All
let
right.
somebody else speak.
All right. Winko. Go ahead, Winko.
Oh yeah, so I mean, where the one to say is, I feel like the only way Liberia can move forward, except we strive to love ourselves. Like a try to build Liberia, because if we sit back and and like the Chinese, the Lebanese, to go to Liberia and do what they're doing, I feel like saying we Liberian, need to do the same too, because the stuff is, we don't love ourselves, and this is what I hurt in Liberia right now. We don't love each other, and that need to stop. So, anybody got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. I think a lot of times as Black African people, I find this globally, man. I travel around the world. We don't show grace to one another, right?
Right.
Just like they say, well, President Tubman, he was in office for 20 years, right? Nobody says that when the German chancellor's in office for 20 years, right? I think her name was Markel. She was in office for like 20 years. Nobody says that when a Chinese president is in office, dictators in office for 20 years. But when it comes to black people, right? Oh man, we got to get him out of office. We got to do a coup. We got to show grace to one another, man. That's one thing we don't do, I think. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is so cheap, because for me right now, like I said, I've been in America now for 24 years. I bet you. Okay, I don't really have a good Liberian friends to say, oh, like this, because the stuff we are not united. We just fighting among each other. I feel like that's the only way in Liberia can move forward, and we can really build our country. You know, we got to love ourselves. I'm serious, because right now that's the only thing right now that's really holding us back. It's sad.
I mean, it's like that for every African country, brother. We're just
Right.
Liberians, so we only deal with our communities. But I think people in Nigeria would say the same thing, because we're not a homogenous group. We are different groups who, came together to form one country. But again, people have personal beefs, people have personal differences. It doesn't mean that we're not a united country. Most of us here in the diaspora, we have our own things that we're striving for. We have our own goals and aspirations. But I think if we were all back home in Liberia and we have a country, a government or a president who has a national policy of unification, and who wants to unite all people under one, under a policy of maybe development or something else. That's why presidents are there. That's why you have a government who can unite the people and push them into a direction of unity. So I don't think that's the reason why we're not moving forward. I think we have a lot of corrupt, politicians in our country. We have a lot of self-serving and self-interested people in our country. It's just the same thing for most African countries. It's an African syndrome that's being amplified in Liberia.
I
But
know.
again, okay, go ahead. Somebody else can.
Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button again, please. Hit the like button, and link is in the chat room again. Link is in the chat room. If you want to click on a link and call in, please click on a link and call in and add to the conversation. Also,
So much
guys,
stuff, right?
documentary release.
Yeah, like so much stuff
Look,
right now, because the stuff is so, we want dual citizenship. Okay, so now, if Liberia come up with that dual citizenship, what are we going to do? Is that going to benefit people who in America, Europe, Asia, or is that going to benefit those who in Liberia?
That's the thing. Like I was saying earlier, this bill is primarily for diaspora Liberians who lost their citizenship, quote unquote, when they took upon American citizenship, right? And a
Right.
lot of people do this for economic reasons. They do it because they want to have some level of security. Like during the Liberian Civil War, a lot of people who had American citizenship could just run to the American embassy and have some level of safety there. So a lot of people took upon those citizenships for different reasons, and they go back to Liberia with the advantage of economic power. You know, you've been here, you're working, you can save up a couple of
Yep.
thousand, you know, and go back home and buy a big piece of land and invest your money, and you're the big boy down there. You know, and the natives they can't compete with you because they don't have the same economic power. So these people wanted to extend their power to, you know, to to gain certain rights. And the Liberian government at first was very restrictive. They didn't even want them to have any kind of public servant job, even a sweeper. I mean, they actually mentioned it that you can't even be a street sweeper if you had an American citizenship.
Right.
So I think this guy lobbied the government for years, and he actually got this bill somewhat watered down to a place that most people feel like it was acceptable. Even people are complaining that it's too restrictive right now because some people can't run for senators, they can't run for representatives. You see a lot of people doing that. A guy in this country who's a middle level manager, or maybe a higher level manager, will go to Liberia and run for a representative, bring a lot of cash in, you know, bribe a lot of his people, his
Yep. Yep.
constituents,
Yep.
and it will win elected office, would steal a lot of money and then run away and come back to the United States.
Yep. That's
You
what
know,
we want.
come back in and buy homes. So a lot of Liberian people were skeptical of people like that. That's why they wanted the bill to be so restrictive. But right now, this bill really benefits people like, you know, people like my entire family. I'll just give you this as a personal information. I'm not an American citizen.
Right.
My family naturalized. My mom, my father, they all thought I was crazy for not gaining my American citizenship. I have a green card, but I'm not an American. I've been in the United States for over 20 years, but I refuse to become an American citizen.
Yep. The
I've
same.
always been, yeah, I always been a green card holder. But my family don't understand why I chose not to take another country's citizenship. And people are so comfortable, especially the Liberians, they're so comfortable with taking that oath and
Yes.
pledging allegiance to another country while, you know, claiming that they love Liberia so much, and they would take another country citizenship in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
but then will want to go back home and have the same rights as a native Liberian who have no right, you know, no opportunity to come to America, or have no economic opportunities, but will feel like they're equal to that person while they have an American citizenship.
Yeah. That's right.
So that's
Me.
the truth.
You know.
Hey guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. And once again, guys, documentary is now available. Go to documentary.searchforwho.com. Documentary.searchforwho.com. Please check out the documentary, guys. I want everybody who's watching this to go and buy and support the documentary. Again, I don't ask you guys for much. Go and buy and support the actual documentary. I greatly appreciate it, you guys. Again, I greatly appreciate the support.
Right.
All right, that good guy, go ahead.
I don't think I really want to say is that we need to connect with each other.
Hey, that good guy. There's like background noise, or it's not coming. You're not coming in clear. Okay, yeah, I guess he'll come back in. But guys, again, go to documentary.searchforwho.com. Documentary.searchforwho.com. And once again, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and the documentary shares and talks about my Africa journey, my journey throughout Africa, my in search of a Huru.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
what that's
I
what
would
it talks
just
about, guys. Go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah, I just want to put this out there. You know, people in the chat, you don't even have to come on a panel and stay too long. But I just want to get kind of like a quick view. Is anybody willing to go to Liberia, spend a year, and get naturalized as a Liberian citizen? I just want to get maybe some comments in the comment section. How many people are willing to do it? Because Kyler thinks this, you know, this is a good thing when he stated that lie that African American was searching for this, and it's just not true. Although, you know, we would like to see a lot of African Americans go back, you know, and have that link with Liberia, but a lot of people just didn't care about this. Most African Americans are looking elsewhere, Ghana and other countries. So I just want to know, if is this a positive news for a lot of African Americans, or even people in the diaspora who are looking to become citizens, you know, citizens of Liberia? I just want to know. So even if you call in, you can say, well, I don't think it's a good idea, or I think it's a great idea. I just want to know, because on
So
the
I
grant,
want to. Okay. So I want to know, because the stuff is, my kids, right, is born here. So now, like, is that going to make them too, and for them to get the Liberian citizenship too, or how that works?
No, no. This is
All
for
right.
birthright Liberian, because that was a case in the Supreme Court where a guy named Jallo challenged the Supreme Court, saying that he was no
Just
longer a Liberian citizen because he
look
took.
up for letting me in. So, no, Sim, I'll talk to you anytime soon. But get about the word.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
But like he was asking the question. This is mostly for birthright Liberian citizens who lost their citizenship when they became citizens of the United States, specifically mostly. So most people thought they were still Liberians because they didn't know the laws, and they went back home with that same mindset. And even there was a confirmation in the Senate for a lady who admitted to having her Liberian citizen, her American passport, and she showed it, and they canceled her hearing to have some government position because she was an American citizen. So that's not a law that Native Liberians said. That was a law that, quote unquote, American Liberians said. So when people say that in the comments that Liberians is being gatekeepers, people felt like they wanted to keep that little paradise for themselves and not have, quote unquote, tethers, like Tyreek would say, coming in and taking their position. So this is not a new thing. This has been going on since the 70s, you know. So I just want to say that. Go ahead, somebody else.
Go ahead, Blue Sox. Go ahead, Blue Sox.
Hey, first I want to say happy Liberian Independence Day, and then I just want to say I would be interested long term in Liberian dual citizenship. I haven't been there. I just been reading about it since I was a kid. I've been wanting to go. I've been wanting to visit,
Hey,
but
hey,
right
Blue
now
Sox,
all I can
Blue
really
Sox,
do is go to
Blue Sox,
Liberian Business
your
Expo.
sound, your connection.
Uh,
I got it. Hey, Blue Sox. I have to remove you. There's too much just background noise. You're going in and out. So maybe leave the chat and come back in. I'll let you back on. But it's just too much background noise and your sound, which is going in and out. Judd, go ahead, Jughead.
Hey, well, guys, good morning, guys. Morning, the channel and the rest of the chat room. Yeah, the question that you posed: should Black Americans be given dual citizenship? Answer was affirmative. Not only that, you owe you citizenship and land. We owe you because without Black American collaboration, slavery would not have happened. So we owe you morally and legally. We owe, my opinion, we owe you land as well, not just citizenship. Owe you land as well. But with present leadership, that's not going to happen right now because leadership right now, President Africa, is corrupt and cowardly. So until that changes, we won't proceed. But yeah, to answer the question, we owe you citizenship and land, in my opinion.
Um, I mean that's a tough statement to make. You
Why is
know,
that, Elvis? Why is that a tough statement to make?
well, in terms of land, you have to understand, number one, Liberia is one of the smallest countries in Africa, West Africa
Yeah.
specifically, right? And secondly, when it comes to the question of like reparations, are you saying they should get land because of slavery? Liberia took part in the slave trade, or before what is now Liberia took part in the slavery, so that land should be something like for reparation, or what are you saying? Or as an enticement to have people come in and become citizens, we should give them a piece of land. What are you saying? Elaborate on that point, please.
Yeah. Elvis, I mean, so what is the catch? I mean, the concept as a whole, not just Liberia. The question that was posed on Diana's chat was do we owe you citizenship? That was just for Liberia. I thought it was for Africa. Was it just Liberia or Africa continents? I'm confused.
Yeah,
But
that's what the show is about today. I don't know if you've been following, but this is a news that came out of Liberia that the president is going to sign a bill that allows dual citizenship, which was previously not allowed for people
mm,
who took upon foreign nationalities, and then they had lost their Liberian citizenship because they became American citizens, quote unquote. So they've been lobbying the government for years to get that citizenship back. So they got it back with some restrictions, certain offices they can't hold, and whatnot. So Diners posted a question: is this a good thing for African Americans having dual nationalities? And I was just making the point that how
mm.
many African Americans are willing to take advantage of the dual nationality, bill that's going to be passed in Liberia. And I wanted
But
to get people take on that to see how many of them are willing to do it. I think the last brother just said he's willing to do it, and I want to get your thought on that as well.
Yeah. Well, in that case, Elvis, I'll amend my statement. I'll amend my answer. So the question posed by Diane, so yes, citizenship is a must. That's the least they can do for African Americans. That's the very least. But I think that as a whole, because we Africans, we collaborated. I'm from Nigerian background. I was born here in the UK, but I'm African. I'm Nigerian. I was born here because I'm a black man. I was born in Beijing, but it made me Chinese. It's ridiculous. I'm an African. We were born in Beijing, Soweto, Kingston, Jamaica. You're black and African. So, but regarding the question about Liberia, I mean, I'm buying land in Africa right now, so I'm not a rich man, so I have to, I have to be careful what I spend some of my funds. So we can support each other, yes. Whether it's Brandon going to Kenya, Europe, Intelligence in Liberia, we can give each other support, yeah. But none of us are rich yet. We have to be careful of our resources.
Yeah, well, what I was saying was before I left last time, I said, look, the problem is, this idea of, and rightfully so, there's a lot of people on the ground in Africa. That's why I said, ultimately, the black people in the diaspora should have their own territory or state somewhere in the Congo or state like that. That should be big. Why? Because if you're living in America, and you decide you got $300,000 in the bank, and then you decide you want to go to a country like Liberia, you're going to rule over the people there. That's not fair to the people there that's struggling and day to day. Even now, there's a tension now between Liberians who are born in America, and they call them Decembers. They go back every December and whatnot, and the
I
Liberians
agree
on the
with you on
ground
that point, Carla. I agree with you on that point.
feel a certain kind of way. See, Elvis, if you listen to me sometime, I'm very empathetic to your plight. Trust me. I get it, brother. I am empathetic to your plight. The bottom line is this, and we know human nature, right? We all want to be Pan-Africanists, right? But Pan-African is not the law of any African land. Right now, people stunt on each other. We go to another country, which should be a thing. Oh yeah, like this. We as a black race don't value, and the point came up yesterday. I forgot who said it, right? Gassimo said it, right? The idea of race, right, is not something. I mean, Edward Wilmot Blyden talked about the early Pan-African, talked about that was from the experience of slavery. But now the majority of people calling shots in the black world are not slave descendants. They're Africans that were born on the continent. They live in the UK and everything like that. They don't have that same slave. Jughead is the exception. The majority of people do not see race as a color as a unifying factor. The Chinese got it. The Chinese reached all over the world and had Chinese that lived in the United States for 2 years, spoke English and everything. Chinese rednecks and everything. Say your bloodline is Chinese. Come back here and show us how to do ranching. Show us how you did the railways. Show us what you learned over there. It went back in this always to 70s. You guys got computer skills. What do you think China developed so fast for? You think because they're smart? No, they reached all these Chinese around the world. Said, look what we need, whatever we need to do. Africans have never done that. Why? Because we don't see the Nigerian government, new government didn't see African Americans as their children. The Angolan government didn't see. Angola's starting to see now. Say, well, we can have a reverse brain train. We can be. But Angolans tell me that's their goal. But the problem in Angola is a language barrier because they speak Portuguese. That's the only reason why Angola hasn't reached into Black America because of the language barrier. So we got all these colonial languages. We got.
Can I ask you a question? I don't want to lose it, Carla. It's not a. I want to ask you. You made a statement. You said that Africa, people in Africa didn't see African Americans as their children. Good point. But in that same breath, how many African Americans, view African countries as their fathers?
When we call ourselves African Americans, you gotta understand something, Elvis, right?
No, but I've had this conversation a lot. A lot of African Americans say they're not African
right?
at all.
Black people in America, for the most part, right? When someone came from Africa, right? The guy could be a complete moron, right? If he had a dashiki on, Black people in America he's just a thing. He's a talk of the town. The guy could be a complete idiot. Now, because of social media, we say, oh man, that guy was a joke, Before, these Africans from Ghana, and I think when they came to Black America and spoke in front of Black, we were just in awe of anybody from Africa. That's the truth, Kwame Nkrumah, a great man, preached at Black churches, He went to York. He was a hero in Black America. We've always pedestalized Africans, all the time. That's African American history. You
Nah,
know,
that
that's
that
we
that that
always.
hasn't been my personal experience in the
Well,
United
that's
States.
you, Elvis. That's you. You gotta know
It
how to
And
do
depends
that.
on what
it's not
generation of
out.
black
Yeah,
people you talk to, Elvis.
right. That's what I'm saying
Well,
because
I'll say this. I would say this: the average Black American isn't interested in Africa. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
right.
Blue,
That's my
blue,
point,
go, go,
Adonis.
I agree with
go,
that.
go, go, go ahead, Blue Sox. Go ahead, Blue Sox.
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected earlier, but I was saying
No, Blue
I
Sox. What
I
I'm saying,
mean
Blue Sox. Can you hear me? Your connection is real muffled. I don't know. I'm saying call back in.
can you hear me
Leave and
now?
come back.
Does it sound
It's
better
real
now?
muffled. I don't know if you got another device. I really want to hear you, but it's too muffled.
All right, here, hold on. Let me try. Can you hear me now? Or,
It's like a lot
Yeah,
of
you're all
wind in
set.
the background. It's like wind or
Yeah,
something in the
I went.
background.
Yeah, I went for a walk to talk to you guys, so I'm like down the street.
Yeah, it's good. We're good. We're good now. Go ahead. We're good now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was saying I would be interested in Liberian dual citizenship. I don't know if I wasn't Liberian already and I didn't lose my citizenship if I qualify, but I would be interested in it because long term, just looking at the states and just looking at a lot of stuff going on, I think it'd be easier for blacks to build somewhere else because you look at the pastor that just got robbed. It's like there's really no place safe. Nobody believes in accountability for
No, but
anything.
that's a
It's
little
just
Come
like,
on,
extra.
man.
Blue
That
Sox.
dude
That's a
was
little
flexing
exaggerated,
hard. He
bro.
deserved to get robbed. Come on.
Yeah, I get what you're
okay,
coming
yeah,
from,
he
man. But
was flexing
let's not.
hard, but there's all kind of cases like that. Like there's dudes at random gas stations putting air in his tire and he gets murdered. He's not even from Atlanta or wherever. All this stuff is happening across all these cities.
Yeah, but like I
So
said, let me tell you something, brother. You take the I was saying you take you with you, right? The bottom line is this: a lot of times black people think they're running like I say, you can do that in the United States, right? Black people think, oh, no, I'm running from New York, and they go to Atlanta and find the same thing. You might go over there. The mentality that we have and everything. Anytime you're running everything, you seem to attract not only attract the same thing you're running from, but it seems to be always be waiting for you when you get there. You may go to South Africa and experience the Cape Town violence and the gang. You caught up in the gang life up there in Cape Town. You can go to Brazil. It's always there. It's always there. Anywhere you go, you're gonna have friggin' problems. The
yeah,
thing I have with black people in America, right, is that instead of saying like this, what Liberians do need, right, like we're organizing a tour for next year of Liberia. They need black people from America, right? This is going to make them to be able to get on a plane, fly to Liberia, right? And then used to be a time my boy Niall talking to him Saturday night, right? I was like, when I go to Liberia in December, should I do a jug? The Liberians for the longest time, for the last 20 years, have been those things. They would ship a lot of products from America, like Snapple, Puerto Rico. Now the thing is, the trend is now when you get to Liberia, you go shopping in the local and stock up with local products. You see what I'm saying? Before everybody was shipping containers over from America with all basic stuff and everything. Now it's like you seek out Liberians who got this stuff, right? Now, if you go to Liberia and say you're gonna stay a month in an Airbnb or hotel, wherever that, you got to stock up with that. If you go there and you basically got this person that does this and everything, we network like that. You talking about lots of money being pumped into the economy by bed and breakfast services stuff, transport, stuff like that, taxis, everything. All that pumps money into the Liberian economy. That's what Liberia needs right now. And when you show that you can contribute, right? Say this is our second homeland and everything, and you can come and go like this. Maybe in a few years you might say, you know something, maybe I might want to retire here and become a citizen. But the citizenship is not important. Let's basically go over there and show what we can do and partner with our Liberians, brothers and sisters over there to make it happen. Make
And I
make
would
happen.
say I would say this, Colin. I think honestly, if African Americans did take upon this as a priority, the Liberian government will probably be more accepting to give African Americans some special, status and maybe even waive certain, prerequisites to gain citizenships because of the history itself, and will kind of maybe be able to fast track, a way for African Americans to come in and have, investments and things like that. But I don't see any groups
But let me ask you a
from
question
from
though.
from America that's
What's
advocating for that.
Elvis? This is what I don't understand is this, right? Because we got my brother experienced in Liberia. He owns several properties. He's African American from Chicago. He owns several properties. I got seven African American. Right now, my brother, Mr. Overton, right? He's basically building a school in friggin' Liberia. He's buying property right there in Liberia by the airport, you know? And bottom line is there's nothing stopping anybody from investing in Liberia. Liberia, like I said, when I was over there, they told me, said, we do not care. If you're black, we want to encourage more black people in America to come here and invest their money and everything like that. You can buy property. It's not like these other African countries. So what do you need citizenship for? That's what I don't understand.
Well, and that's fine too. Again, if you're not interested in citizenship, that's fine. But I'm saying, in terms of investments, there could be something that will entice people to come in and invest. Some kind of a special status or having some. There are people who go into other countries and request for special statuses to invest. Like Indians, Americans, they'll do that to go back to India to invest. Even some other countries too. So I'm saying if African Americans wanted to do what you're
Well,
doing
I think
or
let me
what
ask
you're
you a question.
stating.
Let me say this, man. I think Liberians, right now, this position should come first. I think
No, that's what I'm
Liberians.
saying. They've already got it, but you're talking about just going back there
Well,
and
I think Black
investing.
African Americans, right? Because African Americans, Liberians are so close culturally, right? It could be easy partnerships and stuff like this because a lot of Liberians that live in America for years, they're basically black people, Black America. So I don't think there's that line. Except that some people are Liberian extraction, some people are
And
not.
that's the thing. That's the thing, Kyla. You're different, right? You've been to the continent. You've been to Liberia multiple times. But the average, like Dennis was saying, the average African American, what's going to entice them to come and say, okay, I got to visit Liberia. Besides the history, what's going to entice them to say, I want to see
Not
Liberia?
a history wheel. Go ahead, Jughead.
Thanks, Donis. Yeah, I'll keep it short so Jamal can come in. Yeah, Callum, I have to give him some credit because look, give an example. African Americans take that step to Africa. It's a bold step. It's easy for me. I'm from Nigerian background. I've been in Nigeria 5 times. It's easy for me. But if you're African American or Jamaican or any diasporan, you be cut off from the continents. Callum, you're a bold man. Donis, you're a bold man. Most people, as Africa, it's take the big step. It takes courage. It's not easy. So that for Africa, says walking hand to the African diaspora, which is not done generally, won't be easy. So, Carla, you're a bold man. Dallas is a bold man. Winko's a bold man, but it's not easy. So Africa extends an open hand to her children to come back. Most people won't come. So to give credit to African Americans that don't want to come, I fought for them because it's easy for them. They've got for 500 years. I've got a connection. I know.
Junket, let me say this. There's a lot of African Americans, right? Like I said, who live in Belize, right? They live in Belize. They live in the Philippines. They live in Europe. I mean, lots of them, and the tens of thousands. I mean, people with money and stuff like this, and travel. African Americans spend almost $100 billion a year on hotel travel, cruise lines, everything like that. About $100 billion a year estimated African Americans spend on travel. We keep the hotel industry afloat in America. We're some hotel growing Negroes. You know what I'm saying? We love hotels and everything like that, cruise ships and everything. We like this. Less than like percent of that travel money goes to the African continent. If the whole thing is if it was natural, the Chinese basically support the China people. The Black people in the West, right? The Black people who vacation, stuff like that. Like I said, when you have a vacation, it's already allotted. It's like I say, okay, we spend this much money on vacation. A lot of Black people in America take their kids to Disney, or whatever for a vacation, or they go to the Smoky Mountains, whatever, in Tennessee and stuff like that. Just adding Africa on the bucket list, and I think this right here will do that. This thing right here, I don't know about dual citizenship and everything, but this idea for a U.S. person as a U.S. passport could travel Liberia visa free, that's going to basically trigger a boom in the tourism industry sector. It's going to make it easier. That's what I
So
think.
you think Liberia should do more like the right of abode and the right to return like Ghana does?
All that's emotional stuff, bro. I'm done with Negroes and their emotion. Come with some freaking money and something.
To be honest, Kala, a lot of European countries have citizenship by investment and different programs where if you invest in the country, they offer you some kind of citizenship program.
And
I don't
that's the
think we
point I
need
was
the
making.
average black person going over there. I think we need, black people who really have some kind of purpose in going over there, and so there should be some kind of barrier to entry.
All right, I get that. I get that. What I'm saying is this though: the way Liberia is set up right now, but Liberia is different, right? Liberia. Let me. I'm gonna say something right now. I hope I don't offend nobody, right? When I was in Liberia, right, I felt like, and I hate to say this, right, I felt more Liberian than the average Liberian. Everybody was hanging on to my every word. It's like, okay, it was almost like I was in America, captive for all my years, and I'm finally returning home. They're like, okay, you got the master plan. Everybody listen to every word I say. I've talked to officials, everything. They're like, oh wow, this is what we need. When you're black, like Mark Blanton, when you went to South Africa, right? Mark Blanton's not the smartest man in the world, but he went to South Africa and he's in the top 1% of movers and shakers in South Africa just by being African American. Look, I hate saying this, right? But when you're African American, you have a certain advantage, what I'm saying, in this world, advantage for your history and everything like that. Use that. You don't need no freaking right to abode and all this kind of nonsense. Use your smarts and your wits.
That's the point. That's the point I think that Blue Sox was making, and that's the same point I was heading down towards. You're different. You're a small minority of African Americans. If we're trying to entice people from the diaspora, especially maybe African Americans, most people don't even want to go to Africa because it's been built into their head. There's no indoor plumbing. They live out in the jungles, and people still believe that even in 2020. That it's uncivilized.
Well, you don't want those type of people over there.
And that's what I'm saying. So people who are skeptical, right? What can the Liberian government do to entice them to get them that first visit, to go on the continent and see, or maybe go to Liberia and see?
Elvis, they said the best for advertising word of mouth. That's what the Liberian told me that. I was like, yo, look, yeah. Well, the one guy that was when I went there to get my fiance license and everything, me and Isabella, and she grew up with this guy, right? He works in the Ministry of Records and everything. He said, man, tell me when you want land. I can help you out, facilitate the process. And of course, I'll slide him $100. He'll push the stuff through the record department and everything. But the only thing about Liberia is when you incorporate. I'm incorporated in Liberia, right? If you're and I had to have my partner as the head, right? If you're not a Liberian national, I don't know. This might change, right? The fee is $1,500, but I only had to pay $300 for my corporation because I put Ross as the head, But I think this might change that, Maybe U.S. people, U.S. passport that have corporations. I don't know how that works, right? But he told me that he said, "Look, man, the bottom line is they want the word of mouth to get out that you can come to Liberia and buy property and develop it and stuff like that."
And Kyla, you've been on this platform. This is a pretty big platform. How many people on this platform you think you have inspired to visit Liberia?
Over the years, I've inspired dozens of people, bro. Over the years, man. People just like Bomani. Bomani has took the 600 people to the continent, right? Go Black started out with Bomani. Do you think Go Black to Africa ever mentions Bomani Tyehimba as no? People in social media is not gonna say Kala inspired me. They're not gonna say Bomani. They're not gonna say Dynast inspired me. That's what you're dealing with. People, there's no love and Pan-African unity and kinship and rank and hierarchy in this thing. Everybody's out for themselves. I got a YouTube channel now too, so fuck that nigga Kala, man. He ain't shit. That's what you're dealing with. That's what I've been dealing with for years.
And I think I think you just
made. Hey guys, let's pass it to Votan. Votan, go ahead, Votan.
Yeah, I think Kala was making a point about some people not really acknowledging others who have been able to elevate them in their travels to Africa. Yeah, I think it took a while, but I think Go Black to Africa actually had a video with Bomani, and he actually gave him credit for having initiated his interest in Africa. But that said, a couple of people made some points about African Americans, given the situation in Liberia, to go to some countries in Africa and, kind of basically create a country of their own in Africa. So, I mean, I really want to have more perspective about that. What really motivates that? What would be the interest?
I'm the one you need to ask. I'm the architect of that,
Yeah, so I'm coming to that. So I was reading some of the commentaries, And it looks like a couple of people, they're thinking a country like Congo, which is about 980,000 square miles, is just a vast land having nobody in there. But what you have to understand also is the fact that there are tribes, even though they may be small, but they're kind of spread out around this area. So when you have to create a country within these countries, you have to be aware of, certain regional disputes that may really occur as a result of that, as opposed to when you're integrating, you're investing, and the people see their communities really developing. Because,
Yeah, well,
for
here's
example,
the whole thing. Volcan, let me say
yeah,
this. Let me say this. Right?
yeah, real quick,
Well,
because
let him finish, Carla. Let
yeah,
him finish. Go ahead,
a country like
Volcan.
Congo, even though it kind of suffered colonialism, half of the population was basically killed by King Leopold, then around 1890. They have 200 languages, so many tribes spread out. A country like Nigeria, even though you have the major tribes like Igbo, about 30 million people, the Yorubas, but Nigeria has sub-tribes, about 370. A country like Cameroon has about 258. So just the idea of just going in, create a country, how would that even serve African Americans if they're returning
Well,
to Africa, calling it
let me
home?
say this.
And there's
Let me say,
also 80 million people in Congo. There's a lot of people there.
It's almost 100 million even.
Voltaire, let me say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, when we said the idea, we're talking about a city-state, a nation infrastructure, right? When you say a vast country, you're talking about millions of people scattered. They're basically migrating because of wars, everything. They're not settled, right?
It's been in existence since
Can
historic
we
times.
admit that? Can we admit that?
Sure.
Okay, can we admit that? Not settled, right? So you have people, I'm from the Congo, but they're 1 year they're here, 1 year they're there, 1 year they're refugee, child soldier. When you talk about infrastructure, we're talking about people living on the grid. That means a smart city, a planned city, like Dubai. Like you have the United Arab Emirates, right? It doesn't have to be a nation state, right? It could be something like a special territory zone. It's only a smart thing. Korea is building them, right? Vietnam's building them, right? They're fusion cities, right? Of people, modern cities where people have all the modern amenities and everything. And not only that, right? Let me tell you something. Here's the thing, the theme of the last couple of days, right? They're going to be able to compete for human capital. Now, when you say, just come to the Congo, no black people from the West are going to be like, they're going to come in a state of chaos. But if you do build, if Angola builds a city-state, the Congo builds a city-state across the Congo River in Angola, northern Angola, and they say we're going to make this a city-state, a special zone and everything, but basically like this, they put the billions of dollars into it and attract the black people from the West and everything with brain power and everything. They will be able to compete with what's coming in the thing of these mega cities that's going to control the world. These mega cities are creating billionaires every day. We're the African mega cities.
So come in. Yeah, Carla's right. Bolton, what kind of saying is that like Doha, capital of Qatar, a black Doha, a black Singapore, a black Dubai. That's what Carla means. He's right. We can do it. We've got the money. African Americans got 1.5 trillion annually, according to Dr. Paul Anderson. Here in the UK, we've got billions. We've got the money, Voltaire. It's a trust in each other. That's what's lacking.
I'll say this, Jughead. I'll say, like, for Kala, right? Is there any organizations, like I'm saying, who's organizing to go to the continent?
The Black African Infrastructure Organization, right? Which I have a social network. We've been talk about this. I've been inspired. Like I said, it's not like an organization, but it's a social network. We've talked about this for years, right? And the bottom line is this: I'm gonna keep hammering this, right, until people get in line and join the social network and see this is the only way forward. If I was Chinese, let me say this, right? And I'm not trying to offend my brothers. I love my African brothers, my black African American brothers, but there's something wrong with our race. If I was Chinese and we were in a situation where I wouldn't even need an organization like the BAO. It would be common sense what to do.
Yeah.
It'd be already common sense.
But money talks, Colin. Money talks. People want to see the money. They want to see what's back.
Question: Are you going to be at the Liberian Business Expo?
Hold on, check this out. People don't understand how money is created, right? Money is generated through commerce, tax base, real estate, and everything. Everything you read the book, the Magna Carta, how Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, land and capital, right, and infrastructure is how wealth is created, and people living productively in those areas to the highest thing. That's how nations become wealthy. You know, you don't.
Right.
People. There's a lot of Africans who think, "Oh, I'm gonna get rich because some IMF is gonna give me the bank." Africa has the human capital resource, right? All they have to do is turn that human resource into human capital, right? Organize their labor, the skills, and everything. Then Africa basically can write its own take, create its own banks. Right now, you can do that with cryptocurrency, with crypto things. You don't even need the friggin' Western banks. It's the friggin' mentality. If I was any other race, I wouldn't even be. There would be no collegenesis because people just do it. Common sense.
Yeah, Carla, you're right. There's something wrong with it, but I have to go.
There's something wrong with our race.
Yeah, Carla, you're right. But basically, it's cowardice. When I say this, people
Hey, somebody, Jacques, my bad. Sorry about that. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Somebody had asked a question to Carla. I forgot. Somebody asked Carla a question.
Yeah, that was me.
I asked Carla if he was going to be at the Liberian Business Expo.
Where's that going to be hosted?
Where's it going to be?
It's going to be this weekend, July 29th and July 30th. July 30th when they have the panel.
That's the whole thing. That's why I have a social network. If I have Liberians and everybody says, I would know about this stuff. But I can't know about this. Everybody's all over the place. I created a social network.
It was on Focus on Liberia. That's how I found out about it.
Yeah, that's because that's why I'm asking, because that's a platform that I'm closely associated with.
Well, like I said, I watch social. I don't really get into Liberian politics like that because I think it's not my affair. I watch when Sister Call's on, and they talk about certain.
Yeah, I like when Sister Call's on.
But I don't really get into Liberian politics. People, despite what people think about me, I'm very, very respectful of Liberians. You know, I'm very respectful. You know, I understand. See, dealing with them for years, I wasn't like this years ago, but I learned to respect what they say and what they do and stuff like this, you know, and understand that just because I'm Black, African American, and also I'm not superior, I'm not better than them and everything. It's a time for us as Black people to learn from each other and respect each other, you know. When respect
Carla,
is due.
What did you have for lunch today? What changed you so much? What did you have for lunch today?
Well, hold on. If you Elvis, if you listen to me, or I'm always like this. It's just that what happens is this: people take one thing what you say, right, and run with it. You know, I get half the sentence of, "Oh, see, Carla, this, that, the other thing," and people don't bother. You know, bother that. I used to do that. That's called straw man tactics. You know, you take a straw man. The bottom line, I've defended the indigenous Liberians more than I did the so-called Americans when I don't believe they exist. I know all about your arguments and everything like this. But what I'm trying to say is this, though. If you look at the Liberia from a world perspective, right? What good is it destroying something that the Black race once believed in and like this? And why give the victory to these racists who say that Black people can't build nothing and Black people are an inferior race while we sit in their countries? You know, why would you want to take Paul Kagame out, right? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this might be some discrepancies in the war and everything like that, you know. But why wouldn't you want to take Rwanda out, right? You see what it's doing. It's on this, and by the end of the decade, it's going to be a first world country. By the end of the by 2050, it's projected to be the upper middle class country in the world. So why would I basically be here like these Congolese talking about, oh man, we're gonna bum rush and burn down Kagame, hang him on that? You know, I can't be a part with savagery. That's why we said we want an African, a state where the blessed Black minds could basically like this. We should like this. I'm looking at this at the African Union, right? If we're part of this so-called Black race and whatnot, we as the African Americans have no political power, geopolitical power, in anything. They're making decisions about the continent, my motherland. We have nothing to do with it, and it's all controlled by Europeans and Chinese and everything. Everybody carving up the continent, and we're powerless. We got this African Union that doesn't represent Africa, doesn't represent the diaspora, doesn't represent anybody.
That's because of cowardly misleadership. Look, don't have to go now. I'll call back because I'm at work. I have to take a break. Untitled, Elvis, Voltan, Jamal, Carla, love you guys, man.
All right, Chuck. Brother.
Sure, thank you.
All right. And Voltan, go ahead,
Carla, I think I kind of have a better sense of what you actually meant by the creating the kind of what did you call it, the city state. I actually thought that you were referring to kind of a much more homogeneous society that's pretty much going to be African American.
No, see,
Because
Voltaire. Let me say this. Voltaire.
No, Kyla, let him make a point, please.
Hold on. Before he goes on, let me answer that right there, right? The problem has a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
African American is for the most part, is a mindset. What drives the Pan-African world is the African American. Why? Because it comes from a position of being in captivity. Okay.
Right.
So when we say in Africa, of course it's going to be led by those group of people, right? We're the rebels. You know, we're the rebels. We're the only group of people, like I said earlier, right, that have the our identity is tied to race. I don't know what country you come from. You have your tribe. You have this, right? A so-called city-state in Afghanistan is going to take that into consideration, race, right? Because what we're saying is this. We're rejecting Martin Luther King's I have a dream that are colorblind. We don't believe in that, you know? We believe the white man started this race war, and we're going to finish it, you know? The Chinese, everybody else, they talk all this stuff like this, but the Chinese are all about their Chinese race. We as black people in America, I'm looking at the African continent. I'm looking at all the stuff that goes on in Gambia with the child pedophilia and everything. We don't feel confident that Africans, we could put our trust in Africans like that long term. So we said we need a city-state where people have where people that craft our government and everything have the philosophy of Edward Wilmot Blythe, have the philosophy of Marcus Garvey, you know?
Hey, Dennis, can we hear from Bala? I think he's a Liberian. That name is a
Liberian. Yeah. Go ahead. Voltaire, did you get your question answered? If not, we'll pass it. If you did, we'll pass it to Bala.
Yeah, sure. Let him go ahead.
Go ahead, Bala.
Hey, good afternoon, brothers. Bala here. I've been looking for an opportunity to really tell my man Kala that how much I appreciate him and his great passion for Liberia. So Kala, man, happy Independence Day to you, Elvis, to Dynast, you know, to everybody. Today's Liberia's Independence Day, by the way. So hope you guys are having a good day. I just wanted to chime in, man. I'm so excited to see, you know, what Dynast is doing. You know, Dynast is one of the pace setters for greatness in Africa. He's been doing it for a minute. Been following him from the days of Tanzania and all that stuff. So, you know, those videos are really great. I still watch them, actually, by the way. You know, I'm excited about what seems to be happening in Liberia as far as the dual citizenship. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for Liberia, which, by the way, should have been what Ghana is doing, you know, as far as attracting African Americans to the continent, even though we are still, because of the war, we're still, you know, underdeveloped. We lost a lot of things. Our infrastructures became so derailed. So we kind of lost a lot there, but we still have that thing in our soul. We used to be the pace setters, the role models in almost the entirety of you know, Africa before we went through our civil crisis, you know. So I know we're going to get there. I'm excited about what I'm hearing about this dual citizenship. I think that's going to attract a lot more of us, you know, African-American brothers and sisters. We hope they'll start to look at Liberia a little more than they did in the past. And you can't blame them because, you know, we've kind of held ourselves back. I'm sure Elvis would admit we held ourselves back for so long. Carla's been there. Dinah's been there. By the way, I got a beef with Dinah's. When he went to Liberia, he said he didn't like palm butter. I didn't like that, you know.
No. Hold on. Whoa.
Was it palm butter or what?
No, yeah, I saw that, and I was mad about it.
No, I didn't say that. No, you're
in
wrong.
The Southeast.
You're wrong. No, you're wrong. I love palm butter.
Oh, is it Topagi? Topagi. Yeah, Topagi. Yeah, you're right. Topagi.
I love palm butter. I love palm butter.
Now that, yeah, but just so you know, Dinah, that didn't make it any better because I'm a Loma man, and Topagi is our. If you ask Elvis, he'll tell you.
And we from the Southeast, palm butter is our staple food. Yeah, so
you know, so Topagi, maybe I can't blame you. Maybe it wasn't cooked the right way. So maybe next time you go there, you have the real Topagi, you know, cooked by a Loma person. But you know, yeah, like I said, I just love you, brothers, man. Love to see what you guys are doing. Diners, Go Black to Africa. You know, what's his name? Kiganda, you know, just all these African Americans going to the continent, Mark Blanton. That stuff is very inspiring for those of us who are from there, and we're also here in the West and looking to get back home quick. So you guys are inspiring us, man. I'm so excited for what you guys are doing. More blessings to you, and like I said, once again, happy Independence Day to my beautiful native Liberia. We will get there. We're gonna bring ourselves back to a place of relevance. It'll take a little bit of time, but It'll take all of us, African Americans coming back. Liberia, actually, the first couple of presidents were all African Americans for the most part. So we got that history, we got that connection. So
Right.
y'all come back home. I know it's underdeveloped, but we're gonna need y'all to come and bring all them
Yeah.
dollars from the U.S.
Bala, let me say this, brother. I said like this, man. I said like this. When I was
Hey, Kyle,
in
I
Liberia.
really like Bala was flowing. I really want the brother to finish. Let
I thought
him
you were
finish. Go ahead, Bala.
Yeah. So we'll love for you guys to come back home. Bring those dollars from the West. You got the blessing of having the U.S. passport, which is, in a way, it's the most powerful book on earth. It opens a lot of doors for you, and all that stuff. So we have that too, because we're here as well. So we know how it works. You guys come back home, bring your expertise, your experiences, man. Bring the money, bring the dollars. There's a lot of opportunities to invest in Liberia. I mean, we all know if you really want to get wealthy on earth, the wealthiest people are people who find problems and solve problems. And Liberia is riddled with problems. So that says that that's an amazing place for opportunities. You really want to build wealth. I know you're not going to have your electricity flowing constantly, your water and all that stuff, but just know this, man. If you can find some of these problems and solve them in Liberia, nobody's going to stop you. The place is open for everybody. I mean, just come there and let's build this beautiful nation back to a place of relevance. We used to be the gold standard, man. Other African nations came to Liberia to check us out, to know how to develop, to even see how to do things. We all know the story. People say it a lot here on Dinah's show. The first president of Nigeria, he actually, I think, came to America, but the way he did that was he had to go to Liberia and got a scholarship to come to America. So Liberia has been, we've been there. Nigeria is leading the way right now, or I don't know if I can say that, or Ghana or whoever, but Nigeria has been there for a while, and Nigeria looked at us. They looked to us before doing some of the things they ended up doing in Nigeria.
Don't let the Nigerians on this platform hear that. They don't like to hear that.
well, I don't know who those Nigerians would be, but I know a lot of Nigerians.
Here's a book.
Yes, exactly. Yes, a lot of the Nigerians I know admit that. They in fact, that's why Nigerians love us. Actually, Nigerians really love Liberia.
But they give it back 7-4 when they came in to help stop the war. So they really
exactly.
contribute.
Nigerians lost their lives in Liberia, man, during the war.
People don't know this. We know what Steve Tolbert told me. He said the Maserati Group company, right, had established a corporation in Nigeria that was a manufacturing, right. And basically, he said he sold to Nigerian because he thought the country was going to collapse because of the Biafra War. That was like the first non-British company in Nigeria that was operating, had board of directors and everything, and he sold it to Nigerians, And right. I forgot what the name of the company was. Well, it became was Maserati Group of companies. Maserati was a multi-million-dollar company in Liberia.
But Kala, I'm gonna throw it back at you though, right? I was reading how the English Premier League, right, the world's #1 soccer football club league in the world, right? 20 of the top teams are owned by white Americans, white American firms, and white American this and that, right? They produced a lot of money into that league, right? Is the African ready for the African American millionaire, billionaire to control companies in the United States?
From Africa, I don't think they should control it from the United States. They should set up an office and headquarters in Africa.
But what I'm saying is, Colin, you have all these white American companies that own the Boston Red Sox. They own Arsenal, right? They're not setting up
Liverpool
in London.
Not Arsenal.
I'm sorry, they own Liverpool, right? They're not doing all these little steps you're talking about. So you're saying we have to take another extra step, right? And doing all this stuff. You're saying that's what you're saying. Huh?
No, I'm saying you could do that, but wouldn't but you know, and I know, J Mall, right? That white people could do things that we can't do. People like Afro Dumbass, and people like that will start calling us colonizers and everything. You don't say have no smoke for the white people, like you just said. But when black people from America do something, suddenly the envy, jealousy, they're trying to take over, so like this is stuff we have to stop. I think we just like doing this because it's entertaining, But like I said, you said, yes, you're right. Yeah, maybe we could get into sports one night. This should be. I think aren't they building a African Americans, like Ice Cube building a basketball league in Africa or something like that.
Yeah, they just started the American Basketball League
Oh
in
yeah, that's the
Nigeria.
NBA. NBA did that. Yeah, yeah.
Rwanda, Kigali. I
Yeah,
think
that's in
they
Rwanda.
But yeah,
Rwanda.
I just use the English Premier League as an example, right? I'm not saying it have to be sports, but is Black people, are we ready for it? Okay, African Americans, they have this huge lockdown on farming or agriculture or industrial. Are we ready for that? You know, that's my only
Well,
question. You know?
I think what I'm saying is this though, like Black America, like Liberians, Africans have to understand something, right? Like I said, I live in Virginia, right? If you think tribalism and stuff like that is bad in Africa, come to Virginia, right? The Black families who run Virginia, right? They're a lot. They're in par with white people, right? The Riddicks and all these other people, the plumbers, all these families and every dynasties and whatnot that run everything in these cities and everything like that, right? If you don't know these people by the time you're in second grade, you don't know. You're an outsider. So all of us Black people from New York that's here, we're just basically outside. We band together. We're outsiders. Black people that basically run these cities, and they're always getting caught up in corruption and stuff
Yeah,
like that. You see it
they're
all the time.
gatekeepers.
No, they're not gatekeepers. They run the shit. They own the house. And so the
Mm,
bottom line is this.
I don't know, Colin.
No, I'm talking about here in Virginia. Here in Virginia, the black people, the black people that run most of the towns, cities, and everything, and where the most Black people live in there. There's certain families that run everything, and it's all nepotistic, it's all nepotistic. So somebody coming from outside, oh well, no, you're an outside, you never get in. So the same thing might happen in Africa. How do you basically? Of course, they're gonna see you as an outsider, and you taking everything, So we have to. That's something that has to be talked about. Have the Black race risen to that level of civilization? Now, white people is easy. White people, all you have to do is be white. They see a white man, they don't care whether he's from Wisconsin. He set up a new factory, he's running things, everything. They see his whiteness as a uniform thing. Black people, we don't do that. We don't
No,
do
no,
that.
let me just say this quickly, Colin. When it comes to the Premier League, like the guy was saying, it's not just being white. These people are vetted. Their finances are thoroughly checked, so everything is on par before they can even buy those clubs. America has a great financial infrastructure, and even people in Europe, they respect the American financial infrastructure. So when everything looks good, they welcome that investment because they know they're going to be good for it. There's backing behind it. So I think if Black people want to invest in
Elvis, let
Africa,
me ask you a question. Right? A couple of years ago, some African Americans went to Uganda, right, with $350 million investment, right, in the financial sector, right?
Hey, Colin, I still can't find nothing on that. Like, I mean, I read the article, but there was no names of the
Right.
group.
I was disappointed O'Shea being in Uganda at the time. I thought that we'd have some information, but we didn't. And so, anyway,
I don't think it happened because there was I have not been able to find nothing on that at all.
it said like African Americans went to Uganda for a $350 million investment. I don't know what
you can't believe everything you read. It might be a made up story, some kind of propaganda, maybe.
it could be. It could be, but for the most part. But what I'm saying is, Dr. Mumby commented on it, right? She did a whole hour show on it, right? Oh yeah, this and the other thing. And Nelson, she said, just don't come in as a colonizer. I'm like, why would you say something like that? Why would you bring that up? Why would you say an African American? You know what they would have to do to freaking convince investors to put their pension funds and stuff like that and investments, into a country as volatile as Uganda and everything. You know what they have to do to pull heaven and earth to do that? And there's African Americans that want to do the right thing, do the same thing,
Yeah,
and
they,
build
they gotta
Africa.
they gotta verify that though, Kyle. I mean, you got a lot of scammers in the United States. You got a lot of quote unquote
Bro, the
419ers.
SEC. You understand what the SEC is? Securities Exchange Commission. Oh, you got to be licensed. You can't just go move millions of dollars and whatnot. These are vetted, licensed things. They don't work like that. If Payne Weber, Fidelity, and everything are gonna put their money in the country, that means they got an investment. They invested
So
in
what
Uganda.
happened? What happened with that investment? If you
I
saying
have no
you're
idea.
vetted,
Look,
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
no.
So
Hold on,
maybe they
let me
wasn't
say this,
vetted.
right? Let me say this. When African American, there's another African American group that's invested in Namibia. That's not reported on because it's like the stuff that's going on. We barely got the year return, right? That's all they talk about. Year return, 1 year. That's it. the American media does not want to talk about African American. The only way you're going to notice how anytime you hear about Liberia, black people in America and everything, don't you think those stories of the Gambia where Art Cavity would make tabloid issues? They didn't even make the tabloids because America don't want to have this conversation of African Americans being involved in Africa. We are in captivity. The only way they define us is from shore to shore, sea to shining sea. That's in the African American. Soon as you step over to the continent, like which we call looking like the Black Without Borders, did that get on mainstream? No. I think it was on Showtime, whatever like that, but that was years ago. But Mark Blanton, what he's doing in South Africa, that's news, isn't it? You know, if a dog found is off his leash, walks down the street, that hits the news. This goes viral. But Mark Blanton and Dinah Samir and Bomani and even O'Shea and everything on the continent doing things, how come that's not news?
I will say this. Now, the year return was pretty big news. You know, that was pretty.
Why was it big news? Why Kim Kardashian going over there?
Hey, Cardi B was over there.
Steve Harvey, Roland Martin, a lot of celebrities took that.
These are clowns. These are celebrities.
I know, but they're celebrities. That's the point.
But it's a lot of power in celebrityism, though.
Jamal, let's not do this, bro. Celebrities are a joke. We don't need them. You know, we don't need them. You know, and then they go over there and everything. What do they do? And now, you know, Ghana doesn't need these freaking clowns. Are they building film studios and everything? No. Did they come back? No. They go over there for the year return, whatever, like, oh, the year return. They understand this ain't just 1 year. 1619 didn't start anything. This is basically us not just building a return. It's a pipeline. And the bottom line is why? Because it's the right thing to do. Just like the Chinese that globally have a pipeline, you know, of interest and people and everything. The black people need the pipeline. And like I said, Accra's one of the cities that's part of this pipeline now, you know, for better or for worse. There's going to be bumps in the roads. Gambia, there's going to be drama there. There's going to be this. But when it really comes out to it, like when we have a sculpture and when the sculpture's done, the truth is revealed. So we know how this is going to end and everything. Like what you go, East Silver Mike, she's back in Ghana right now, and she's doing really well. And she's real serious right now. She looked like she matured. She's serious. So when you're serious about this and everything, it's gonna stop. So these people thinking, oh, the bottom line, the mainstream media, right, is not gonna talk about anything like this. That's why you won't find any articles on that investment in Uganda. It's not gonna be talked about.
But yeah, but why would the mainstream media, you know, talk about that? They're not mostly African American owned. They don't have interest in what African Americans are doing.
News. Hold on. Oh, Elvis, you just said that?
No, what I'm saying, you're talking about white supremacy. That's what I'm trying to say. White supremacy. They're not gonna promote the positive of black people. That's what I'm saying.
Elvis, you just answered your own riddle, right? You said you said that why would they report on something? They're not majority African American, but they have no problem reporting on Young Thug and Lil Nas X.
Yeah, because that's profitable for them, right?
You know what I'm saying? They have no problem talking about black on black crime and black this and BLM and also like this. Our business is all in that shit all the time, right? So the bottom line is, why is it that when it's something negative and everything like that, they got it all over the place, but when it comes down to something like this, like they can't control, right? Because that's what it is.
Hey, Carla, can I make this one point? Because I wrote it down. I mentioned it earlier. I think we got to get out of this mindset that Liberia is a small country. You know, we don't have enough land. There's plenty of land in Africa, man.
Oh
particularly
my God,
Liberia. Particularly Liberia. I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. Hong Kong. I think Liberia is like 100 times larger than Hong Kong, right? You know,
Hong Kong is 500 square miles, right?
20 million people. Right, so we got to stop this mentality, this scarcity mentality. It's not enough land. We have to stop that, man. It's scarcity. Hello?
Yeah.
No, I said we got to stop that scarcity mindset. Oh, it's not enough land. We're a small country, man. Liberia is 43,000, I believe, square miles.
Yes, you're right about that.
Hispaniola, you know, and you know. We got to stop that mentality of the scarcity. It's not enough, you know.
Jamal, can I just slide in right there real quick on that point that you're making right there? I think it's really nice that you're making that point. And first of all, before I say what I wanted to say, by the way, Dynast, why Sierra Leone? Why not Liberia, man?
Oh, for me, I mean, because Sierra Leone
Yeah,
had a pathway to citizenship as well. That was pretty
oh, you got a
straightforward. Just
point. You got a perfect point, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a that's a
But
clarity.
trust me, Liberia is definitely in the plans. Definitely.
Yes, okay, and that's a nice point Donna's just made. Like Elvis, that's one of the reasons why I was saying we've been holding ourselves back because something as simple as the dual citizenship, it was just kind of crazy that it took so long for this to come about. Because I mean, I didn't see the reason why we didn't do it ever since, but
It's the
obviously,
foundation of the country, Bala. It's the
you think so,
foundation,
right?
you know. Yeah, it's protectionism. You know, they want to protect Liberia for black people, and they don't just want to have citizenship available for anybody and everybody. So
But
there
but the
was
but the but the dual citizenship was only going to be for people of Negro descent, right? I mean, it
right, and
wasn't
that's what I'm saying.
going to be.
And that was what the, you know, I hate to say it because scholars going to get mad. That was what the American Liberians wanted. They wanted to have, you know, control over who became citizens. They didn't want to have people from America being controlled by the American government coming into Liberia and maybe sabotaging them and things like that. So they put that clause in there, especially during the 70s. You know, I think 73 when they put that clause in the Constitution to make or they passed a law, not a constitutional, you know, amendment, but a law that they passed that
Right.
people who take Liberian citizenships have to renounce their former citizenship. So that was what made it difficult for a lot of African Americans because a lot of African Americans don't want to renounce their American citizenship
No, no,
to be
yeah.
a Liberian citizen. So
That 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 was
that
the
was why.
counter when they did that in the '70s. That was the counter to Black Power movement. You know, Tanzania had a similar law that they did down there.
Yeah, but anyway, so all right, so yeah, that makes sense then, Elvis. I just thought citizenship, as far as Liberia was concerned, either way, it was going to be open up to people of Negro descent, which at earlier on would have allowed our African American brothers and sisters, which I'm really big on. I want these people to come, to Liberia. To be honest with you,
But do
because
they
I
want to
just
come?
know.
That's the problem. How
Oh
many
yeah,
of them want
I
to?
look.
think
The bottom line is this. Like, the whole thing is this. As an African American, now when I was in Liberia, I met a few of them over there. And the bottom line is this: Liberians have to take care of Liberia first. And the bottom line, Black people in America would come, right? And like I said, once things starts kicking off and everything, and there's certain things that got to be done, right? One, I think it would help out if Liberia had a federal system. You know, a federal
Well,
system.
it'll be impossible. Well, we don't have a federal system, but our structure, our system of government mimics the U.S. System of
But the
government.
only thing I disagree with,
So,
brother, is
I
this.
said that and Colin disagreed with me, so I guess he's hearing it from another person as
Well,
well.
no, no, no,
you
no,
know,
no. What I'm saying is this. So what I'm saying is this. So Matt Nimba, right? Nimba right now is poised to be the center of Liberia, right? Is development. If you like I was talking about Brother Naya the other night, he said, when I was growing up in Liberia, he said, we only went to Monrovia on just like once in a while, vacation and everything.
yeah,
We
kind of
had a
like a
complete, huh?
special. Yeah, you're right. Kind of like a special treat to
Yeah,
go
it
to
was like a quick.
Monrovia.
They built a whole life, and they were proud Liberians, and they had nothing to do with the so-called American Liberian culture of Monrovia. He said we were just as equal. We had schools, we had ministry. He said, like, we grew up in Nimba, we had everything they had in Monrovia, right? And so we have that. He grew up in San Quelle. Some people grew up in Ganta. He said so. Therefore, they have that independent ideology. Now, what if Nimba was able to have his? Naya was telling me the other day that his brother said. He said he wished Ganta had their own airport, so they would have to go to Monrovia.
No,
Have they thought?
you gotta understand though, Kyla. Ganta is a commercial hub,
Yeah.
so it's not it's well developed, you know, relative to other parts of Liberia, but it still isn't as, you know, well infrastructure as Monrovia.
Well, the
Monrovia,
bottom
So
line,
yeah.
right,
hold up. You know how you remedy that? You remedy that by when Nimber becomes a corporation, right? A city corporation, like in your city right here, you could have what they call treasury bills, right? Treasury bill. You could float treasury bills, right? And as long as you could justify by creating a tax base, right, and tax revenue, and so therefore everything taxes, everything, real estate tax, everything. Like right now, like the federal government in Liberia controls the property taxes,
we
and
have a
some of the.
unitary system, not a federal system, a
Well, what
unitary
I'm saying,
system.
but if you had a federal system, right, NIMBA would have all that money and tax base. Somebody wants to build a smart city. Somebody want to build this. NIMBA would get all that tax revenue out, and it could develop itself and be
You say
independent.
Nimba, you have to understand, Carla, places like Bam, places like Butuo, places like
Yeah, where the bottom?
B and Duro, all those places are not developed. They're very much
Well, the bottom
undeveloped.
line, dude, but
You
that's
have
why,
places
look, just
like
that's
Ganta,
why I
which is the
told
most
you.
developed in
That's why I
Nimba.
told
Even
you.
Shaniquale is not that well developed.
Like I said, like there's a lot of people at Nimba saying, look, man, you know, now because Nimba's close to the Guinea border and they got trade across the border and stuff like that, you know, so the people are moving, people from Guinea are moving closer thing. He said, but Naya told me, he said he don't want the Guineans rushing across the border and taking over because they're basically French. Even though they're saying Mono people, they speak French, and they're growing tension in that area right now. You know, people and they have the way of seeing things as Liberians. They see themselves as Guineans now. You know, unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Hey, Carla. Okay, so I for you and the rest of my African American brothers and sisters who might be viewing,
Yeah.
including Dynast. All right, you made a good point that if Liberia can start to bring ourselves back to a place of some kind of attraction, then African Americans will be attracted more to come. And to that I agree 100%. Obviously, you got to fix your house up before you can attract your guests. But how about this? African Americans are obviously, you know, you're from America, and like Elvis rightly said, you know, the American monetary system is second to none. All right, it's top of the line. You guys have learned from the best, so to speak. You've been in America, so you've seen the best. You know, some of the best ways to do business, the best kinds of business institutions and infrastructures and just systems and all of that. So in addition to us building the place bringing the place to a place of relevance to attract my brothers and sisters from here, how about y'all just start coming too?
Right,
And let's all do it
brother.
together.
I agree with you. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
go ahead.
One of the things we could do is this: every black people in America live in cities, right? Big cities, small cities, that they have this thing called sister city projects. You know?
Hey, it's our friend, Great
Oh
African.
boy,
He's
look who
back.
it is.
Hey,
Look who it is.
hey, it's
Look who it
Great
is.
African. Hey, we
Yeah.
miss
What's
you.
up?
We
Let
miss
me
you
say this.
around
Let me
here,
say
Great
this before
African. We
Great
miss
African
you.
gets on. Let me say this before Great African gets on.
Hey,
Let me say this before Great African gets on. Sister City
what's
projects,
up,
right?
everybody? Happy July 26th. Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, same to
Yeah,
you,
what's
brother.
up, brother?
Happy
Thank you, man. We should the same, brother.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
me say this.
I
Let me
mean,
say this before brother gets on. Sister City projects, right? Sister City projects have funds and stuff like that reach out to countries and everything. Like, let me give you an example, folks. Like, I hate to say this, right? I have Filipino friends, right? They basically took those Sister City projects, right, and developed whole villages and communities back in the friggin' Philippines. Everything from technology, everything. There's funding available to connect your city to over the world. Cities are becoming more international. You know, your city. Let's say let's say you live in Boston. Does Boston have sister city? Oh yeah, you find out. Yeah, we got sister city projects with this country over here. We're working on this right here. Some of our engineers, because they get things like contracts and stuff like that and everything like that. They get to spread their stuff and everything, and so therefore the people benefit is a mutual thing. We're becoming more global. We black people refuse to think we're more global. Now, there's a lot of black people. Now when I joined the Ghana Sister City Project in the area, right, I was disappointed because unlike the Germany one where they were doing business, the Filipino one did business, all they want to do is do rituals and dances and whatnot. And I'm saying, well, where's the business aspect of this? You know, well, we don't have one. You know, so and they had the white people in there, and all they wanted to do was talk about
Let's
crafts.
get Great African in here. I want to hear his perspective on this, please, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for cutting me off there, but you know.
Sorry,
no.
Kyle.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on. I just, it just popped up on my frame on my screen, so I just popped in. So I hadn't been listening to the whole conversation, but anytime I see anything dealing with, the Republic of Liberia, anytime I see College Genesis, I always want to jump on. So, but Kala, talking about Liberia, the general message here is this: the dual citizenship. We always had dual citizenship, it's just that we had a dictator that put it in to prevent, people from who he drove out into exile from coming back in. So Liberia was founded squarely as a republic, as a black republic. So when we talk about the Republic of Liberia, when we talk about Liberia Independence Day, as a black man, forget the fact that I'm a Liberian from Nimba County. As a black man, this should actually be your Independence Day.
July 26th should be the Independence Day for every single Black person on the planet, because this is a country that was founded strictly as a place of refuge. It was founded as a place for people that look like me or you to go to and also and be free. It is when you talk about finding like the land of liberty, this is it. Just like when even in the Revolutionary War, when we had Black people fighting for their freedom in the British side of it and the American side of it, those were the true freedom fighters. So likewise, the founding of the Republic of Liberia is also truly a Black achievement. But we have abandoned Liberia because, a lot of things have happened. But the fact of the matter is, it's not too late. Liberia is the most unexplored country on the planet. And it's because we were not colonized by a European power. We have resources that haven't been discovered yet. Okay? So if we as a Black people make a decision that we're going to think about repatriation to Africa, we're crazy to think about any other place other than the Republic of Liberia. So I just want to start with that.
I agree.
So, y'all had my little sister on earlier too.
Yeah, man, I love her. Yo, she's my great African. I have to say, man, she's my teacher, man. She is my teacher. She taught me so. Not only she knows Liberian history, she knows Black history in general better than anybody I've known. She knows certain things about Black African American culture and history that I didn't think a lot of people knew.
Brother.
Can I go down?
Oh yeah, Monchi T, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Hey, so here's my contribution, right? First off, great decision, right? We need dual citizenship in all African countries. But here's a few things to think about, right? So on one side, you get a lot of these African governments, they're getting a lot of remittances, right, from people that are working overseas and sending money back to support the economy. They contribute quite a significant portion of the budget, right? But now you look at the leaders, they know that the people that have left the countries, they are more enlightened, more knowledgeable, right? They're going to vote for the right people, right? So what do? They don't want to give citizenship because guess what comes with citizenship, right? Is voting rights, okay? Now you have places like my country where they have put in the constitution, they're dilly-dallying about implementing that. Why? Because they know the millions of people that are overseas, if they give them voting rights, they're going to vote the opposition, okay? So that's one part of it. Why they might not, some of the countries, they don't want to give dual citizenship to even their own people, forget about even African Americans, right? Okay, now, talking about African Americans, I think that I would not agree to automatic citizenship. What I would agree to is this. I think African Americans should get in ahead of the line, okay? So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? You look at the European Union, right? When they come to the US, those countries, they don't need visas to come to the US, okay? So they're giving them, they're putting them in front of the line ahead of everybody else, right? So when African Americans come on the continent, then it should be expedited. Maybe it's 1 or 2 years, whatever it is. What does that mean? Well, that means that you don't commit crime, okay? There's some measurements, some metrics, right? You can't do, if you're a bad guy, you don't deserve to be a citizen of any country, right? Just like I have US citizenship.
Hey, Mochi, I agree with you for Liberia, but not for the entire continent.
Wait. I'm just saying. No, I mean, what you mean? I mean, all the countries that I think African Americans deserve. I mean, I would specifically probably say sub-Saharan Africa, right? For me, when I talk about Africa, for the most part, I'm really interested on Black Africa, right? So that's sub-Saharan Africa, right? I think all the Black nations should afford African Americans that, expedited way to become citizens.
What about Haitians? What about Caribbeans?
Of course, sorry. I'm talking Black diaspora. I'm in the US, so I say African Americans, but no. I definitely mean all Black diaspora from Colombia, Brazil, Belize, anywhere where there's Black people, right? So sorry, I don't mean African Americans only. Sorry, no. Okay, but why it is? Let me finish this. Why it is important to give citizenship, right? if you're a citizen, you have some rights that you can go to court, right, and represent yourself. So how can we expect the black diaspora to invest significantly in the local economy if they're not citizens? Because there's a problem. Because if you're not a citizen, I know how some of these people do in power in Africa, right? They can take away your assets on flimsy reasons, right? And you won't have much standing in courts. So, it is important that, especially if you are thinking, somebody wants to invest significantly in the long term, there should be a pathway for those people to have citizenship. And I think then it's a win-win situation. To be honest, I think more black diaspora would be more interested in going to Africa if they could get citizenship. That's my take.
So here's what I would say on this. I guess the question is, should automatic citizenship? I'm firmly in the camp of automatic citizenship to any black person on the planet who has the vision to buy a plane ticket and go to Africa. For example, the reason why one of the thought process behind dual citizenship is a lot of Liberians left and got citizenship somewhere else because of the war. So constitutionally, they came together and said, well, if people left because they had to leave and go to other countries because of all the civil war that we had, why should they lose citizenship? Likewise, if a black people, descendants of black people who were left the continent in chains and came to America against their own will, many of them committed suicide because they wanted to go back. Some of the ones that got here drowned themselves. So to me, the only qualifying criteria is that you have a strong desire to go back to your motherland. Period. That's it.
Great African. Great African. Just one thing. Great African. Just one thing. Okay, I want you to consider, right? If you go to Colombia on the coast, all right. So you're talking about all those places around Choco, where there's black people, right? Cartagena and all those places, right? There's a lot of our brothers that are actually involved with the Mexican cartels in terms of drug shipments into Europe and Africa. Are you telling me that just because somebody is black, they're gonna automatically land in Africa? And
I disagree with Great African on that point.
Let's not be sentimental and emotional. Let's not be sentimental. Let's not be sentimental and emotional.
Let's look at
Munchie, give him a chance.
Hold on, gentlemen, check this out. Check it out. Like, you guys, I understand what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. Okay. The vast majority of black people who have the conscious mind to go to Africa are not criminals. Okay. So we can't put up laws and restrictions based on some criminals. If you come to Africa to commit crime, the law will deal with you as a criminal. That's simple. But the concept, the reason why Liberia was founded as a refuge from white supremacy. Okay. So we can't go and start saying, okay, well, yeah, if you want to have a background check, I get it. Okay. We don't want like murderers coming in, but that's a very small issue to the bigger picture that I'm talking about. The vast majority of people that I talk to, Black Caribbean, Black Americans, that have an interest in even visiting Africa, they're not criminals.
Yeah,
they're not criminals.
Great. Brother, I find myself aligned with you with your ideology a little more than with Muchi's. But here's why. For me, it's from a different perspective. Our black diasporans, whether it's African Americans or Caribbeans or British or wherever they find themselves on the globe right now, other than Africa, I agree that we should, more than just expediting citizenship, they should have the ability to have automatic citizenship. And here's why. Muchi's point, one of Muchi's reasonings was, for example, he said something about if people come from Europe and stuff like that and they come to America, they can be ahead of the line. Whites now, they can be ahead of the line, but not automatically get citizenship. Now, I think that ideology kind of counteracts, really what you would describe if an African American is coming back to Africa. The African Americans or the black diasporans are from Africa and they find themselves in a whole different place. Caucasians here in America are not from America; they're from Europe. So then, if you were to make that comparison, you would talk about them going back to Europe and getting automatic citizenship. I think these people are from Africa. Most of them, to a large extent, are here by no choice of their own. Their forefathers, their ancestors, were brought here, and ultimately, going down the line, generationally, they were born here in America or in Great Britain or wherever.
I think you're being idealistic, brother.
Let me add to Bob's point.
I'm just look at the end of the day.
Graham, let me say this. Let me add to Bob's point. No, what he just said was just really profound, right? There has never, even the rush to Pan-Africanism, right? The global shift to Pan-Africanism was centered around the indigenous people and the people on the continent. And the idea, they erased the whole idea of Africa being the transatlantic slave trade and everything. That was completely erased from the whole program. With the original OAU, they took into fact that our people in the West, right, are part of this too, right? The African Union now, guess what? Haiti is not part of the African Union, right? But Morocco is a racist country. Egypt is. Israel got reserve status. White Afrikaners are in the African Union, So what I'm saying, when Muchi's talking about is nationality and everything, that's something Europeans made up and stuff,
Yeah.
We're talking about is heritage and bloodline.
Exactly.
Was it injustice? What the questions need to be asked? I'm going to ask on this panel, right? And I'm going to ask this forever. Was this what they did to us, built their capitalist system, right? Their racist capitalist system, and built their wealth, right, on the blood sacrifice of millions of our ancestors. Was that justice or was that injustice, right? And then if that was injustice, right, the black people who basically were torn from their African heritage continent, do they have the right to live in Africa on their own terms in peace? You know what I'm saying? If you can, that's the question we need to ask, right? Forget about nationality and everything. I think every country should have an Afghanistan, a territory for the diaspora to return. Every country should have one. It would be a beneficial tool. There'll be a smart city.
It is. It'll be really smart. It'll be very smart. And let's be careful. Let's be careful not to try to take only the good and leave out the bad. Let's deal with the ideology and not be part and parcel about it. What do I mean about that? You can't say you can't say we will take the ones that are not criminals and not take the criminals. Everyone has the right. It's all about right. They should have that right.
To Kyle's point, right? To Kyle's point, we can't just. There's no such thing as something that's going to be automatic. We have to know. The African continent has to know that this is something that you want, right? We can't just read your mind because we don't see a lot of African Americans until recently. Hold on, Kyle. Let me finish my point. Until recently, we don't see a lot of African Americans really having a craving to go into Africa and live there. We may see a couple people visit for a couple of weeks.
But there's a reason for that, though, Elvis. There is a reason for that.
If they lobby the African Union, right, and say they want this, and they come with a lot of force and with a lot of people behind them, then I think we can negotiate it.
Elvis, African Union,
so you have to understand the whole concept of Liberia. I would encourage everybody to read the Declaration and the founding document of the Republic of Liberia. Because that is what it was found on. It's not found on, you know what? It's based on, there might be a drug cartel in Colombia or whatever. It was a country that was founded on a principle. That black people around the world were oppressed. So if you look at Liberia, it's not just African American.
Exactly what it was founded for. You're right. 100%.
So great African.
Correct.
I agree with you. Great African. I agree with you, right? But you are talking specifically of Liberia. There's 53 other countries. Yeah, okay, wait. That's okay. I was thinking we're talking about Africa here, okay? So if it's Liberia, hey, Liberia is free to do whatever it is that they want to do. But I'm just talking about in a larger context, right? If you're now talking about Africa, Kala asks, do people have a right to get back to Africa? Of course, absolutely.
All right,
but
hold on.
Wait, let me finish.
Moochie,
please, listen.
Moochie, my point is,
but wait,
Liberia answered that question.
Wait,
Liberia,
let me finish.
Liberia.
You say hold on before I finish.
Hold on, Moochie. Let me.
Why don't you listen though?
Moochie, let me finish my point.
Hold on.
But I haven't finished.
Kyle, let him finish. Kyle, let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead, Moochie.
Let me finish. Then you can answer, right?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead, Moochie.
All I was saying is, I acknowledge people should come back, but citizenship and nationality, that's two different things. When you start talking about citizenship, right? You cannot. I mean, you know what? The thing is, you know what? Most of us here, we are too idealistic. Two, we are too sentimental and emotional, right? So what does that mean? That means that a lot of progress is made by incremental gains. Okay, so if you want to buy a car for 20,000 cash, you don't just save $20,000 in a day or in a month. You do it over a period of time, right? So when I say that it should be expedited, we are all aiming to the same goal. The problem is when you come with these attitudes of saying, "Oh, it should be automatic, it should be this," make no mistake, you're going to get a lot of pushback from the guys that are in power in Africa. But if you know what your end goal is, right? If you say, "Hey, look here, it makes no sense that a European can get citizenship in 4 years. Why can't we get citizenship in 18 months, in 12 months?" Now you can start talking and negotiating. If you come with this hard-headed, knucklehead mindset of saying, "Oh, we deserve this, it should be this," I'm sorry,
I agree with
you
you.
will never get
I agree
anywhere.
with you on that point.
Nobody ever said that. Not said to us. I'm leery about citizenship. I believe permanent residency and everything like that. You know, when you citizen, I don't think you can serve two masters. I believe when you take that oath for Liberian citizenship, you gotta give that U.S. passport up. That's just me. You know.
And you don't want to do that, right, Kala? You don't want to give your U.S. passport up.
Well, no, right now, no, of course not. The way they are right now, we can't. You know, this, like I said, there's not one, and I'm just being honest, right? There's not one country right now set up, right? I'm not going to delude myself for that. There's not one country in Africa for an African American say, "Look, I'm going to give them a Social Security. I'm going to give them everything I built in this country, right, to go live in Africa." Have them prepared to for that. Now, what I can do is this: I can invest, I can build, I can own property, I can contribute, you know, as much as I can. You know, and bottom line, and I'm not asking for any political office and anything like that, because I believe that belongs to the people like this. When I was in Liberia, I'm like this: look, you know, y'all got to come first, man. Y'all need this, and everything. You know,
and that's a good point. But that whole dual national
well, hold on. We got elders. We got blacks it on. Go ahead, Juliet. Go ahead, Black.
Yeah, Black.
Unmute yourself.
Honor to you. I've been following you for years from the first episode with Rodamaya. So.
Thank you. How's my brother? For my other mother, how's Dynast? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Can't play.
Good. Well, Dynast, firstly, let me start by applauding you for what you've been doing in Sierra Leone. Okay. And, you know, we're going to also talk about Liberia. I've never been to Liberia, but I'm obviously living in Africa. I repatriated and I live in the Gambia. And I moved from the UK and I've not been back since. Yeah, I found myself in Africa. I am an investor in Africa. I am a promoter of Africa. And firstly, I want to unpack automatic citizenship just to make it clear to you. When I first put out the package about automatic citizenship was based on a similar basis as already exists. Firstly, let me just state this. When our ancestors were taken in chains, they did not have any immigration or any passport. They even lost their names, their identity. They were stripped of their culture, stripped of their family, stripped of their legacy, stripped of their land, stripped of their titles, stripped of everything that could identify them with the place that they came from. So we have been nomads for too long. And I want people who are born in Africa to understand the loss that we have faced and the crisis that we have faced in our identity. The crisis that we have faced with having nowhere to go. Indians can go back to India. Chinese can go back to China. English can go back to England. They can be in South Africa for so many years, but they can still claim their English identity and return home with no issues. But when it comes to Africa, there's always an issue of you have to qualify this, you have to qualify that. And why is there even the assumption that we're going to be a criminal? Why is always this stereotype when it comes to black people? Black people, let me talk to black people. Let me talk to us Africans, because we are all Africans and we are all one. It is not virtue to where you live. I am African because African is in me. Africa is in me. You cannot deny me that. Because of virtue of my history, what gives you the right to judge me? as being less African than you just because of the place where I was born. Secondly, automatic citizenship has its own criteria. As I wrote, and I did a program which had over 144,000 views, in which I explained very clearly the criteria. I am not expecting people just to walk through the door. What I am saying is that you must want to go home. You must want to repatriate. You must want to reinvest into the society. You must want to learn the culture, learn the language. It's not easy, especially when you go in your twilight years. And most people that are going back to Africa are not going back when they're 16 and 17. They're going back after they've had, money. They've sold their house. They've divested their investment and have got something to go with. Yeah, most people go when they have a nest egg. And so what I'm saying, there is criteria, but the criteria shouldn't be based on us being screened like we're criminals. It should not be based on the fact that we should not be welcomed. We should be given a citizenship passport, an automatic citizenship passport should be given to all African diaspora that want it. Because not many Black people of African descent even want to return. Yes, I'm a Garveyite. And yes, there are other Garveyites, but most people aren't. They're happy with their lot, living with white people in their dystopia. Yeah, there's only the few that are selected and chosen who are conscious that want to go to Africa and know the truth about Africa, know the true wonderfulness of Africa, know the true beauty of Africa, know the true investment opportunities and business opportunities and wonderfulness of Africa, and understand the beauty of living among your own people. There's not many people that do experience it or even want to experience it. Many people wake up and if they don't see a white face, they feel displaced. Okay, so that is the truth. So when we are coming back, the first thing we expect is respect, that we even made this journey, because this journey is hard. Do you know how many people are living on benefits, living on social security? They don't even have their own home. They don't even have a job. They don't even know where their next money is coming from, the next paycheck. They can't even afford to leave. They don't even own a car or they own a house. So, all of these assumptions that people are well off and are better off. Some people have got PhDs and are cleaning, floors in toilets because of discrimination and racism. We face enough discrimination and racism without having to come back to Africa to face the same kind of colonial ideas and mentality where you're going to face barriers when you come back here because we're going to have pushback against you. When if I was a white person coming with X amount of money, I will be seen as an investor and I will be given an automatic citizenship based on the fact that I'm an investor. Why aren't I seen as an investor? I spent millions for my house. Why aren't I seen as an investor? All of this discrimination, all of this prejudice, all of this, fraction thinking, all of this kind of bad-mindism that we have between ourselves has to end. We are all Africans. We are all one. And it has to stop. How dare you scream me when you go to America and within 5 years you're getting your green card. Yeah, I'm here in Gambia. I have to wait 15 years for citizenship. What kind of a joke is this? African nation, and then you want my blood, and then you want my blood, you want my DNA, you want my blood.
Black Seed, that is unfair.
Let
her finish. Moochie, let her finish, and I'm gonna pass it to Carrie because I want to get them on.
Right, all I'm saying is that you want us to jump through all of these hoops like we ain't human. Like we don't have feelings, like we ain't gone through pain, like we ain't gone through racism, discrimination, and hatred. So when we come back, we want love. We want a welcome.
That's the point I was trying to say earlier. I said, look, if everything we went through is basically dismissed, and people act like, oh, you come to Africa like it's some soap opera or something like that. Look, people are coming back for it. They're coming back, and it's like Africa's not really embracing us the way I think it should be. Do you understand what we went through in the West? You know what it takes to say, something, we want to come back to the continent and everything, and people are just dismissive, like the Afro dumbass guy, and people like that, and Negro P and all these other people that want to freaking cast doubt and all this kind of nonsense on Black people returning, watching our every move and everything like that, criminalizing us and everything. And a lot of people just give up and say, man, I might as well just stay in America if I'm going to go to Africa and like that. Africa has not made it easy for Black people in America to return. I hope this Liberia initiative will do something, but
Let me, Juliet, anything else you want to share? I'm gonna pass it to Carrie, but take your time, Juliet.
Yeah, I was just wanting to say that, obviously Ghana, Sierra Leone, Yeah, there are other countries, and it is opening up. Gabon. I mean, you're a prince in Nigeria. Okay, let's look at the good side of it too. I'm living in Africa, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Don't get it twisted. My life is 1,000,000% better here than it would be if I was living in England. Okay, my lifestyle is 1,000,000% better. My mental health is 1,000,000% better. My ordinary health is 1,000,000% better. My diet is 1,000,000% better. My happiness is like off the scope, regardless of what's happening in my personal life. You know, I have no regrets about coming to Africa. Africa is the place to be. Africa is the place to invest. Africa is the place that we need to return to, and we need to be a part of the progress of Africa. We need to contribute in a positive way. So don't let me get it twisted about us not coming. Hell, pack your bags and leave. Because the more of us leave and the more of us come back and the more of us work together positively towards, you know, harmonious intervention, harmonious contribution to the society that we're living in, then of course things are only going to improve. But you know, I keep hearing that, you know, Africans, oh, they leave and they go to America and this and that. No, you are a financial migrant, yeah, or you are a migrant, yeah. We are diasporans. And there needs to be a difference made between someone who has financial aspirations or going as a student to us whose parents were forced out of their motherland. We didn't have a choice. Yeah. So we are not economic migrants. Yeah, we are diasporans in the true sense of the way. We and our ancestry is linked to the forced taking of us as captive against our will, where millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people died in the worst atrocity in the history of mankind. And we must never forget it. And Africa has a price to pay. Africa also has to make amends. Right? And I am not going to sit here, and those idiots that you talked about, they're online trying to destroy the Pan-African movement, let them go to hell. Yeah, or whatever else is good for them. Stick their heads where the sun don't shine and drown. As far as I'm concerned, we have to get hardcore with them. No, we need to go online and destroy them. Yeah, I'm not playing. You call me a warrior, call me a fighter, call me whatever, but we need to get together as black people and stand up. Yeah, and say no more. This idiot Prian or whatever his asshole name is, excuse my language, yeah? Let him go die somewhere. We should be killing his channel and killing him. He mounted some white clown. He not even representing nothing. He don't mean nothing. And we as black people need to stand up and be counted and fight. I'm tired of all of this cowardice and this passivism. They've made us into something that we're not. We are fighters. We are warriors. We are kings. We are queens. And we must stand up. They mustn't destroy our fight. They mustn't destroy our Garveyitism. They mustn't destroy our Pan-Africanism. They mustn't destroy our love for Africa while they sit down in some European place with some porn star. Hell no. Telling lies from morning till night on us. Telling untruths against us. Trying to defame us. Trying to destroy us. Look what they've done to so many other people on YouTube. Because of me, I don't care. They can tell lies on all day and all night. I'll still keep saying, brothers and sisters, come home. Because each and every one of us has a legacy of Nanny of the Maroons. Each and every one of us has a legacy of Marcus Garvey. Each and every one of us has a legacy of every single freedom fighter that there has been. Yeah, Harriet Tubman is in all of us. That's why we're here today on this channel. Dynast has done too much work for some idiot sitting in Europe with some little white porn star to try and undo. I diss him, I diss his family, I diss everybody because he's just a waste of space, an empty bag of gas. He's just an agent, and we're going to get agents working against us the same way as Marcus Garvey was shot in his chest, the same way as he was in prison, the same way Malcolm X, the same way Martin Luther King. And we've got to learn to stand up and be counted and fight against it and say, no, this is our Africa, our destiny, our future, and we are going to claim it. And we are claiming our birthright. And whether you like it or not, Africa, we are here and we're here to stay. And that is it. And if you don't want to give it to us, we'll claim it in time.
Send this clip to the African Union.
Okay. Hey, say, Carrie, go ahead. Say
You have to wake
yourself.
them up first.
Hi, everyone. Happy July. Happy Liberian Independence Day to my fellow Liberians and African diasporans. And regarding this dual citizenship, can you all hear me? Okay. Regarding this dual citizenship, I agree with it. And the reason why I agree with it because I'm first generation Liberian American. My parents and grandparents were four grandparents were born in Liberia. However, I was born in the United States. So with this law being passed, it's beneficial to me because with my parents and myself, I plan on giving back and working on a project.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, Moochie.
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish. Sorry.
And I do agree with Miss Blacksit and what Mr. Great African was saying, because initially the way how Liberia was founded was for freed blacks, for black people, regardless of where you were, to repatriate to Liberia. And I'm at work, so I can't take too long in this panel.
Can I go
down?
down?
Go ahead, Moochie. Go ahead, Moochie. Go ahead, Moochie.
All right. Okay. Hey, Black Seed, I don't know if she's listening. I just wanted to say I'm a fan and I've watched the content. So, again, I think most Africans are allies to Black diaspora, especially as Africans who've come from the continent and living abroad and, we've been overseas. We are allies. We want you guys to be on the continent, okay? That's one thing to get in mind. Now, like I said, we have the same aspirations, right? But the thing that most of the diaspora don't get is us Africans, we know the type of leaders that we have on the continent, okay? So we can have all the wishful thinking that we want and everything, but we're trying to tell you because, trust me, even getting dual citizenship in Zimbabwe, where there's millions of Zimbabweans that are living overseas, all over the globe, all over the world, right? Was tough, and even up to today, it's not still very clear, right? And there are people who have been victimized and have their assets taken because they say, "Oh, you are dual citizenship; it's illegal," right? But all I'm saying is that, getting caught up with language.
What about the white Zimbabweans?
But wait, Carla, please. There are white Zimbabweans that were born in Zimbabwe that came in the 1890s.
That just killed your whole argument right there.
But hold on. Hold on. You're
European talking points.
But no, Carla. All the insults you can make that don't change nothing. All I'm saying is this: how about a Zimbabwean that goes over to South Africa or to Mozambique? Do they get automatic?
Moochie, let me ask you a question. A Zimbabwean was specifically supposed to be the black people there. White people were called Rhodesians. Remember? Cecil Rhodes. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, out of convenience, you started calling them Zimbabweans because you want them to be citizens and good Zimbabweans, but they're still in their hearts and minds Rhodesians, right? So
why were they? Can I ask you why were they called Rhodesians? Can I ask you?
Because Cecil Rhodes,
Okay, then. So what is the issue?
That's colonizers mentality, and they still got all the benefits. You
Carla, those are childish. Carla, you make a whole lot of childish statements.
So are you saying they should purge the white Zimbabweans,
right? The white blood sucking your country is a problem.
You make a lot of Carla. You're too emotional. That's the problem.
I'm not emotional. You're the one being
You
emotional.
are emotional.
You're the one yelling.
You're emotional because what they're saying. What they're saying.
One mic. Let Moochie finish. I want to hear what he's saying.
Okay. Here's the thing. Saying, oh, what about white Zimbabweans? What Rhodesians? What about whites? There's whites all over Southern Africa. In Namibia, they're citizens. In South Africa, there's over 5 million whites. They're citizens. In Zambia, everywhere. There was even a deputy president who was white in Zambia. That means nothing and doesn't move forward what we're trying to talk about. What we're trying to talk about is citizenship, and like what Blacksit said, that is bad that somebody has to wait 15 years. That is something most people can agree that this is unfair. This is not right. So people, the black diaspora and the black people in the country can advocate together and say, hey, we need to change the constitution. what should be done now? I mean, should the time be removed or should it be automatic? All I'm telling you, based on my experience, knowing how things work in Africa, trust me, it's a hard task to tell these guys to say give automatic citizenship to black diaspora when they don't even want to give dual citizenship and to their own people. And then the other thing, Carla, I don't know how informed you are. You try to talk about social security, this and that. The U.S. government allows dual citizenship. The problem is not from the U.S. side. So don't talk about social security.
Let me say this. Right. The problem I have with, if it wasn't for the Negropean pandemic globally, right, I would be all for dual citizenship, right? There's too many Negropeans running around, right, with dual loyalties, and they're black when it's convenient for them and everything like that, and they act as agents of freaking, like, let me give you an example. A lot of Nigerians you see aren't even freaking not Nigerians. No, they're black Englishmen, right, and black British, and they go to Nigeria, and when they hear them, you hear them talk and everything. And I told these FBA, you're not talking to real Nigerians. You're talking to Nigerian Negropeans that went to school and everything. There's a long history of Europeans indoctrinating Africans and Europeanizing them and stuff like this through Christianity, through religion, through marriage. You know, you have no idea the royal families of Benin gave their daughters to Dutch traders to marry and stuff like that. There's a whole history of France. Forget about it. You know, French.
So let me ask you. Are you ready to
done?
Are you ready to give up your U.S. citizenship if they give you automatic citizenship? Are you ready to give your?
He said no. He said no already.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is my whole thing, right? The day now, Liberia, right now, even though I consider that my homeland and everything, I do believe because of what happened in the 1980 coup and everything like that, you know, even though I love and support Liberia, no. Right?
You think that's gonna happen again, Carla?
Let him answer. Is he ready to give up his citizenship?
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me clarify myself, right? I love Liberia. I think black people in America should settle there, build everything, right? But this tribalism thing with the indigenous people and everything, they won't let that go. They will not let that go.
Excuses. I'm just simple question.
You're in front of the indigenous people.
You talking? I ask you a simple question.
You're in front of us.
It's a simple question.
Let me finish my statement. It ain't that serious, man.
It's not that serious.
Hold on.
Yes or no?
Let me say this. Now it's that's tribalism, right? It's also the fact that and you go to Liberia, right? You know, you are not going to hold no public office if you're African American. It's not going to happen, right? A Liberian man wants to see a Liberian man, and I get that, right?
That's not true.
George Weah is the president, right? And they love George Weah, you know, they're like that. You know, that's just what it is. I think that's all as far as go. All the people that hold office and everything like that, you know, these are Liberian men. You got to understand what the Liberian men do. You got to understand what the Liberian man do. You know, you got to walk like a Liberian man.
Carla, you're a hypocrite. Carla, you're proven. Hold on, bro. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're criticizing Nigerians who have dual citizenship, but you're not ready to give up your U.S. citizenship. You're a damn hypocrite. I see. You don't make sense. You don't want to give up your
Have a cool one.
You don't want to give up your U.S. citizenship, but you want to give up a British citizenship. You're a hypocrite.
This is a problem.
You don't make me. You're a hypocrite. I can't trust you. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite.
I want to say
no, you should.
Moochie, let him finish, please. Let him finish.
I'm not a Liberian born in America. I'm a U.S. citizen, right? My ancestors were born here 400 years. I'm a U.S. citizen, right? You know, I'm not going to give my citizenship.
You FBA.
Now, hold on. I'm not FBI. I don't believe in that, right? But I do say if I go to Liberia, right, I can help out as much as I can. You know, I can spend my money. I'm willing to bring my money, my time, you know, and anything I can to make sure that I want to see Liberians rise. You know, that's what I want to see. You know,
so why are
you labeling Africans with dual citizenship as Negropeans? Why are you labeling Africans as Negropeans?
Let someone else speak now, man.
You're insulting Africans saying Negropeans. You're insulting Africans, Carla. You can't do that. You're not that smart. You can't label Africans Negropeans because they have dual citizenship. But by the same token, you don't want to give up your U.S.
Oh yeah,
citizenship.
that,
Yeah,
that's hold on. Look, I'm not acting as a freaking Negropean agent. You know, why would Why would I want to become a citizen of Liberia when that? Whose interest is that serve? Not the Liberians.
Okay, so you are not against me having a U.S. citizenship, right?
But Kyler, you preach
US?
Liberianism on this platform so much. I thought you was really craving to be a Liberian.
No. I'm saying, look, I'm saying that I believe in the concept of Liberia. I believe African Americans should visit there, settle there, retire there, and stuff like that, and contribute. You know, but a citizenship. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what a citizen is. Do you understand what a citizen is? I don't believe that you can have loyalty to two countries. I believe when you love
America, right? You love your American citizenship, right?
When the day comes when you take that citizenship of Liberia, right? Citizenship of Liberia, there should be no other country that you like that. You got to be ready for that.
And that's why they didn't allow dual citizenship. That's the reason why.
Had it not been for that coup, had Liberia been like it was supposed to be, millions of African Americans would be citizens of Liberia right now.
No, the dual nationality
I don't know about that.
It was passed during the American
Let's do this. Let's pass the Kifaro. Go ahead, Kifaro. Then I'll pass it to Jughead. Go ahead, Kifaro.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dynas. Well, I think we're talking about Liberia, but talking about dual citizenship in Africa as general, it's something that is possible. I think we just need to work. We need to each country. We need to work and put more pressure on the constitution, because we all know most of these elites, they all have dual citizenships. You know, maybe 3 or 4 countries, and it's something that is possible. I think if we're gonna do dual citizenship in most African countries, it should be clear. Now, if we're going to do dual citizenship for Afro descendants or for people that were taken out of Africa due to slave trade, that should be a separate kind of a law, because that is we need to put them on a different group. Okay, we say these people, because of these circumstances that happened to them, we're giving them this privilege. We can work with that first. I think if we want to put just everyone in the country as, okay, we're going to have dual citizenship, it's going to be a little bit complicated, because most people, like most African leaders, what they think that if an African commits crime in his country, he can run and go to his second country, and you can't really persecute him. That's the main reason why these people they don't want to give dual nationality for their citizenship. But as I said, like people who leave Africa, we should put them on a separate set and treat them as such. I think that is going to be more easy, and the process is going to be easier for them to work. We can't put all of them in the same pot. Again, I think I've been listening to Carla. I think what we're judging colonial Africa with this present day Africa, you know, I know you say things like, oh, Africans have been trading, selling, getting married to these European people. Well, those are circumstances. I think if we're coming to Africa, we should know we're coming to meet a new breed of Africans. These Africans are informed. They know more about the world. They know more about what is happening. Those ancient Africans, these people were close. They knew nothing about the extra world. All they knew about Europe were from explorers. So all what they told them, this will happen. But this present day Africans are different group of people. So when we're coming and talking about this ancient history, it's something that passed, but we need to deal with the future now. The present, our problems in Africa now is the present, where we can have some reference from past history, but all that we have, that
let me ask you a question.
Problem. It's this present. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Now, I agree with you 100%, but don't you think that the people in Africa should come first? And let me ask everybody on the panel, give me this question, right? If you basically, as a African American, black from America, right? And no offense to anybody that have dual citizenship and everything like that, right? To me, right, the African, that citizenship, right, his vote is all he got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's all he got. He has nothing else. No voice, no nothing else.
Carla Genesis.
I'm going to get on a plane and go.
I'm going to give you an example.
Diminish that.
Okay, see, I'm giving an example. Most African cities, most African countries, especially like my country, Cameroon, don't accept dual citizenship. But Cameroonians, different citizenship, they still come to the country and operate like Cameroonians because what they do, they still have their ID card. The dual citizenship is just stopping them from not having the Cameroon passport. While they're in the country, no one cares your nationality. They are still Cameroonians.
Right.
Someone cannot be born and bred in this country and you say, oh no, you're no more part of this country. That does not make sense. No one cares. The thing is just like
we're talking about
passport,
African
but like
slave descendants. That's the whole thing. We have to
what?
distinguish between Africans. Right now, the AU only talks about the African diaspora, as in people are kind of our people going. She's talking about the people who live overseas, Negropeans, that live overseas. She's not talking
I don't
about.
know
But
if
you're
I don't know
a
if they don't
Negropean too,
include.
Kala. By that definition,
I don't
you're
know
a
if they don't
Negropean.
include
I'm not a Negropean. Let me say.
I
But
don't know
you
if
live overseas.
wait.
No,
I'm not
I'm
sure.
a
Let me.
slave. I'm a
Why can't
slave.
you make a point
I'm
without
an African
insulting people?
slave
Kala, you're
descendant.
too
I'm a
old for
slave
that.
descendant.
Yeah,
No,
Kala,
I
you're
Wait,
too
was.
please,
old for that.
can I
I'm a
just
slave
Kala,
descendant.
can I just
Hold
say
on,
this? Can I just say this?
what, Mike? Kifara, finish. Go ahead, finish your
Can I
point.
just
Leave
finish? Then
that
I'll let you
go
guys
ahead.
to
Kala is too old
argue
to
amongst
be
yourself. Can I
insulting
just finish,
people.
please?
Kala can make a point without insulting people.
Kala just says
No,
something
no,
that.
wait. Kala should
Move
give this.
on.
No,
Go ahead,
leave Kala. Leave Kala. He can
Kifara,
say,
make
say
your point,
okay.
and then back to Mike.
Kala said something that I'm not sure where he got information. I'm not sure if the African Union, the sixth, was that the sixth region of the African Union includes only
I researched.
Africans
It was a joke, bro. The sixth region was a joke.
Continental Africans that are living in the West. But I think it includes also
Yeah, they talk about white
Africans from
people,
chattel
Indians,
slavery.
everybody.
Yeah. So what is your point?
No,
Because you
the
were saying it
point of
does
the
not,
African. If you look,
they don't include the African Americans part of
Hey,
that
I'm trying to
region.
hear Kafar.
it does not talk
Oh,
about.
man, it's just too many mics. I'm trying to Kafar. Go ahead, Kafar.
Yeah, I was trying to ask Kala. You made the statement that the sixth region does not include African Americans or the
I'm
diaspora.
trying to answer you. I keep getting cut up. Yeah,
No.
the sixth
Everybody,
right.
sixth
Can I
region
answer?
includes
Can
African.
I answer?
The sixth region includes African
Can I
Americans.
answer?
It includes African Americans. Sixth region does. Go ahead, Kafar.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so
Go ahead,
I think I just make my point that the dual citizenship, we should keep this sixth region, this African Americans or these Africans that left Africa due to chattel slavery. We should treat them differently, because they don't have, they can navigate these countries like the citizenship, like the citizens in the country. If you're coming new to Liberia, you don't know how to navigate yourself, how to play around. So they should give them this privilege. Now, a Liberian can come to America, have an American citizenship, and he's not accepted dual nationality. He can still go in his country and do anything that he wants. Maybe he might not vote, but he can still do everything. He can still own his land. He can do everything. It's just a citizenship. So that's just my point.
The African Union Sixth Region was founded online, but I know the people who founded it. It was a joke, by some people in the DC and everything. And the African Union said, "Oh yeah, there's nothing official." The African Union is barely an organization that has no military.
All right, Kyle, let's pass it to Jug. Go ahead, Jughead.
Let's back into thank you for allowing back into the chat room. After Juliet spoke, she fired me up. Greetings, Elvis Morris. Greetings, Kala Genesis Grand. Greetings, Bulla Vagabond. Greetings, Muchati. Greetings, Jamal Omar. Greetings, Kefaru. Greetings, Al. Yeah, I'll keep it short and concise. But regarding the term white Zimbabwean, no such thing as white Zimbabwean. If you're a non-black person in Africa, you're an invader. Those whites in Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Zambia, they're not Africans. They're an invader. If I break into your house, say 100 years, does that make you part of your family? No, I'm an intruder. What happened last year, 100 years ago. So there's nothing white Zimbabweans. Please don't use that term. That's offensive to me. I know that term. There's nothing white Zimbabweans, white Africans. They're invaders. And while Juliet says she's correct, I mean, Africans were taken from Africa without complicity against their will. We owe them land. We owe them. We owe them a debt. We owe you a debt, Dynast and Carla Jensen. That's a fact. We owe you. That's beyond disputes. Now, I understand with our present leadership, that's what happened because our present leadership are corrupt and cowardly. So that's going to be a problem. But in principle, we owe you land and citizenship. That's the least we can do. I'll say that. Let me calm down a bit. I'll say that for now.
Who owes who?
Africa owes the diasporas in the Caribbean, Brazil, the Central America, and America for our part in the slave trade.
Yeah, not every African, not every African group or every African country took part in the slave trade, right?
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What they were taking against their will from their motherland, fatherland. They never come back.
Yeah, okay, no, I get you. Let's make it easy. The countries that were involved in slave trade, whole reparation to those people. That's where they were shipped out of the continent. I think that's more easy.
I can only speak for my country, which I know best. And
Go ahead,
Liberia already has Liberia is founded by African Americans, so to speak. And like that's the question I was asking, and Kala answered that question just right. A lot of African Americans don't want to give up their American citizenship. A lot of Liberians in America don't want to give up their American citizenship because with that comes security, comes economic opportunities, comes the infrastructure, the systems that we all value and love and respect. So a lot of people don't really want to repatriate back to Africa.
You know why? Because the current African misleadership, industrialized Africa's not industrialized. That's the problem. If those clowns in charge have done their job, then we'll flood back in the millions because they're not industrialized.
Right. You're from a pretty well developed African country relative to other African countries, Nigeria. You could go back to Nigeria right now. I'm sure you got a good job in the UK. You can do that same job in Nigeria, make a comparable salary, and live in Nigeria and be happy. Have you considered that?
Well, Elvis could do the same thing in Liberia.
Elvis, but
no. I think let's be realistic here.
Okay. Go ahead, Bala.
Yeah, I thought the essence of dual citizenship is you still maintain the citizenship in both countries, so you don't have to give up one. Isn't that what it is? If you have dual citizenship, I mean, unless I'm okay. So why do we keep asking each other people about do you want to give up a certain citizenship? I thought you still get to maintain the citizenship.
No. Here's the thing. Okay. The U.S. allows dual citizenship. Okay. But there are other countries, for example, India, China.
I know that.
Wait, you ask the question. I'm trying to explain to you why. Because those other countries do not allow dual citizenship. So you cannot have dual citizenship if legally you should not have dual citizenship. You would have to give up your citizenship of your birth country.
Okay. So as it by the way, Muchi, where are you from? What part of Africa are you from? Muchi,
Zimbabwe.
Okay, perfect. All right. So in the case of Liberia, we're talking about dual citizenship. So, but several times I heard Kala being asked if he was willing to relinquish his American citizenship as it relates to Liberia.
No, so Kala doesn't believe in dual citizenship. I don't know why.
He doesn't believe in dual citizenship. That's why we're asking you.
Let me just say this quick. Let me just say this quick. Can I just say this quick?
Let me clarify something. I believe in dual citizenship for Liberians that were born in America, right, and that it lost through the war and stuff like that. As far as African Americans, right, I believe Liberians with the permanent residency and stuff like that. Black people are very served being a satellite to Liberia in America, right? That means the tremendous pipeline that we have in America through our institutions and everything like that can serve Liberia. It always has been. All the Liberian.
But Kala, you can be a Liberian citizen if you're American citizenship.
Would you let me finish? Let me finish, right? The whole idea strategically, if you guys don't freaking understand something, right? Liberia will be strategic for Black America in Africa. In other words, basically, all our institutions, like we're now, we got HBCUs building in Liberia and stuff like that. Use what we have in Liberia and basically, like, when are we going to open the first African-American bank in Liberia, in Monrovia, right? See what I'm talking about? We can take our institutions. We don't need a bunch of deadbeats sitting over there with citizenship. Come on, I got Liberian citizenship. We need the Black people that's going to invest, to bring the infrastructure and build Liberian infrastructure. That's what I'm talking about.
Getting a country citizenship is a big commitment, Kala. Are you willing to make that commitment?
Okay, hold on. What Mike? Bala, are you done, Bala? I don't want to cut off your time, Bala.
I didn't. I didn't want to interfere with my brothers.
No. Go ahead, Bala. Take your time, Bala. You've been patiently waiting. Go ahead, Bala. Take your time. Go ahead.
I mean, just being in y'all midst, brother, makes me happy alone. So, but Kala, okay, so I didn't know that Kala had issues with the dual citizenship. That's where. So now I do understand why Elvis kept asking him are you willing to give up your citizenship? Because I was a little
So
confused why Evans was asking it. But
let me say this.
but
Let me say this, Bala.
yeah,
No,
I have a
Kyle,
friend.
let Bala finish his statement. Go ahead, Bala.
but if Diners would allow me to actually say this,
Take your time. Take your time. Please don't. Nobody interrupt him. Go ahead, Bala.
I would rather love to, as many as of my African or diaspora, but I have to be honest, I'm biased, towards the African Americans. So as many of my African American brothers and sisters as can come to Liberia, I would say come and see what's going on. You will be thrown off guard by the very low infrastructure and all that stuff, but just understand one thing, that we used to be there before. And because of our civil conflict, we are where we are. But Liberia is an open field right now. It's probably the one country in Africa, maybe the entire world, where you can go over there and start something entrepreneurially, and in no time you start to see great returns. Liberia is a place of promise. So I'd encourage all of my African American brothers and sisters to come to Liberia, come visit or check it out. Do more research about Liberia, and to potentially spark your interest a little more, if Diners would allow me to say this on his platform. There's a small YouTube channel, just like it says, Bala the Vagabond. There is a spot in Liberia that's on that channel. It's called D Calabash. Check out that spot. It was built by a Liberian.
I went there.
It's state of the art. Check out that YouTube channel. It's called Bala the Vagabond. There's a video on there called "He's Building the Miami of Africa."
I've been there.
The spot is called D Calabash. Check it out. That should give you an idea of what Liberians are actually capable of. And I believe that we're going to come back to a place of relevance. We're not going to continue to be the laughing stock of Africa as we are right now. Frankly, we are, let's be honest. But we're not going to remain that way because we're very resilient people. We used to be there before. I want you to remember one thing. Liberia's underdevelopment, or Liberia's falling back to where she is right now, is not only and solely due to Liberians. There are other external forces that I'm not going to say here, but it's pretty much obvious, who are trying, or who've been trying as best as they could to make sure Liberia did not develop, or did not remain where they were in Africa. There are a lot of other races, other people who were trying to make sure that didn't happen. So there were a lot of things that were responsible for our conflicts that brought us to where we are. So don't look down on us. We're going to come back. We're coming back. We're resilient people. We're working at it. The politicians are doing their part. The Liberians in the diaspora are doing their part. They're trying to come back home. Just as Kyla said earlier, the reason why a lot of Liberians came to America and decided to settle shop here and not think about going back home, because most of them came during a civil conflict. So at that point, you're not thinking about going back when you just saw your relatives get killed or people get murdered on the street. The last thing you're thinking about is going back there. So that's why a lot of us came here and stayed here, and it kind of set up shop and did not think about Africa, as opposed to Nigerians and Ghanaians who were always building back home. So Liberians are not catching on to that vision, and we were coming back. So we're going to do as best as we can to encourage our African American brothers and sisters, and our British brothers and sisters, and Black brothers and sisters, everywhere in the diaspora, to come back to Liberia. Liberia is the place where we should start from. If you want to repatriate to Africa, Liberia should be your first spot. It's going to be easy to assimilate. I'm not talking about as far as infrastructure is concerned, because obviously there's a challenge there, but we're going to get there. But Liberia is going to be the easiest place. The people there love Americans. They love African Americans.
Africa made easy.
We actually think we're African Americans, and by the way, we are, to be honest. So I mean, that's what we are. So that's our identity as Liberians, as Africans. So I encourage y'all, look to Liberia a lot more. As far as business is concerned, it's a green grass. I mean, it's a fertile soil. You can come over there and plant something, and bam, in no time you start to see immense return. Even at
Hey, Bala. I'm going to say your name into the tourist department in Liberia so they can hire you as a spokesperson. Okay?
No, my brother. You see, for me, I don't want to work for government. I want to come through in the private sector, bro, because I know that's where the money is. Dinah says it all the time on the show, and that's why I love this brother. He says the freaking truth every time when he says Liberia is being ran by Lebanese, and people argue with him. I'm like, why are you arguing with him? He's saying the truth. Liberia is not right now. The owners of Liberia are actually
don't agree with Dinah. Don't give him that point. It's not true.
It's a fact, man. It's a fact. I mean,
Oh my God!
That would be another debate. It's gonna take us like forever. Well, I just want to say something.
I'm a half one, man. I'm a half one.
Let me just say this. I think.
Okay, after you will close out. Unless, in fact, you then Jamal, then we'll close out. Let's brother Jamal to say something. Go ahead, Kapari.
Okay, I think it's not realistic when Genesis says we should not have dual nationality. So to me, that's not realistic at all. Africa, for the most part, most African countries, we're not yet at that point that we can easily reject some Western identity. I think what is realistic is for us to use this dual nationality as some kind of a springboard to build our nations. Let's take advantage of capitalism. This dual nationality is going to give you this advantage for you. You can take this advantage of this capitalism and build your country. So when we at that point that we don't need to stay in these other countries, then okay, we can get rid of that nationality. But at this moment, if we are realistic, we need that free movement. We need to be able to go to all these countries and get word and come back and build our
Well, let's
country.
be honest with
So it
ourselves,
does not make
Ferrari.
sense that
Let's be
we
honest.
just have one
Let's be
nationality and
let's be honest
Liberian
with ourselves.
nationality.
A
Yeah.
lot of people spend 30, 40 years outside of Africa and they don't do anything. I do think, right? There's nothing stopping you, a Liberian or African American from going to, right now with this passport thing, this law should be passed soon, right? With Liberia, it's not dual citizen passport law. You as African American travel to Liberia as much as you want without having to get a visa, without getting a visa and everything. That's basically the fact that you could basically use your U.S. passport to do a lot of things in Liberia and everything. I still say, right, if you want trouble, don't create this separate class of people that can go and come when you want to and everything, while the masses are stuck there in the stuff. And I'm telling you right now, you are asking for conflict.
Dennis,
Yeah, I
can I
just want
say
to add this.
Dennis, just a quick thing about one guy, right? This guy is Somali, okay? This guy, he put $300,000 into gold mining in Somalia, okay? He was living in Finland. He moved back with his wife and kids, okay? Put $300,000, the licenses and everything. But what happened in 6 months, the government of Somalia changed and a different tribe came into power, right? And then they said, you have to reapply for licenses, okay? He went back to apply for the licenses and they denied him the licenses for gold mining.
All time.
And they say, you know what they said? The guy said, we have got the Chinese who are mining with the local in that area. So at this moment, we cannot give you a license. This is Africa for us Africans sometimes. So let's not just romanticize everything and say, oh, you have to give up your other citizens. The guy had to track back.
That's why I said,
guys, I want to close out. So Jamal, anything else you want to share, Jamal? Then we're gonna close out.
Yeah. I just want to say this, man. For the African Americans out there, the FBA. Look, man, Liberia, you started the country, so I think you should look to it. You can have one foot in Philadelphia and your other foot in Liberia. Give it a shot. Come with an open mind. I think it can be done. Another thing too. Back in the '60s, when Liberia was booming, was on a developing a path. The Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Jackson, her aunt went there in Liberia. That's how she got her name. Her Liberian first name was when she was in Liberia in the '60s. But yeah, just come with an open mind. I think it can happen, man. I'm gonna close out right there. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And guys, make sure you go to documentary.searchforwho.com. Documentary.searchforwho.com. Oh, what happened? Hold on, guys. Hold on. What happened? Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. What? Hold on. There we go. Okay. Guys, make sure you go to documentary.searchforwho.com, documentary.searchforwho.com, and buy the documentary. Again, buy the documentary. I want everybody to purchase a copy of the documentary. Okay. Please visit documentary.searchforwho.com and buy my new documentary, everyone. Again, documentary.searchforwho.com. Either today or tomorrow, I'm going to make sure it's linked through just searchforwho.com. So you just go to searchforwho.com, click the link, and you'll be directed here. But for right now, documentary.searchforwho.com. I need everybody to support this documentary. If you're watching this, I need you to buy this documentary. I want you to buy this documentary. Again, I want you to buy my documentary, everyone. Okay, until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.